semifinals on New Year's Day.
You're watching Dr. Pepper Championship Week.
Wow! The most fantastic game in history for me at this stadium.
Before that game, everybody believed we could win.
Gives to Williams around the left side. It's a foot race. He'll win. Touchdown, Fighting Irish. Wow!
And I realized how much faith I have in our team, even when I'm not playing.
Racing into the end zone. Touchdown. Into the end zone. Touchdown. Davis Allen.
He keeps it himself across the 5. Fumbled into the end zone. Clemson recovered.
This team never flinches, never gives up.
Look at the shotgun. Now rolling out to his right. Throws into the end zone. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Here we go to overtime.
Uiagalelei will keep it himself, and he's across the goal line. Touchdown.
Woke from under center. Hands off to Kyron Williams. Touchdown, Notre Dame.
And here's the last chance for Clemson to win the game.
Uiagalelei throws. Game over. Notre Dame knocks off number 1.
It's just a good reminder we're not guaranteed to win.
This team knew we could go into that game and get a W. That's how we feel going to play them again in this ACC championship.
College football's biggest star, Trevor Lawrence, a spectator for that classic due to COVID protocol, brings added fuel for a rematch with much higher stakes. Clemson to Charlotte is a well-worn path past the giant beach. This is all brand new for undefeated Notre Dame, a first-ever conference crown to fight for. Can Ian Book match the brilliance from that magic November night in South Bend to beat Clemson for a second time? Welcome to the ACC Football Championship game on ABC, presented by Subway as part of Dr. Pepper Championship Week. And today's collision here in Charlotte between number 3 Clemson and number 2 undefeated Notre Dame, their one and only season here in the ACC. Welcome, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit. Championship Saturday. The scene shifts here to Charlotte. Congratulations to Ohio State. Oklahoma won their conferences as expected. Now we come to Clemson's backyard. And sometimes the sequel can actually live up to the original. You think of The Empire Strikes Back, Godfather 2. So we can hope, partner, a lot to fight for. History on both sides here.
Yeah, what I love about this is there's a lot at stake for both teams. Both teams come into this game kind of with a chip on their shoulder. Clemson wants to avenge that loss, and Notre Dame, they've been playing with a chip on their shoulder all year. So to get them to collide on that last Saturday, it's a lot of fun.
Trevor Lawrence talked about that. Irish students got in his face after that loss in South Bend and let him know about it. He didn't need added fuel, but he's got some now.
Yeah, he's not that kind of guy, but he remembers walking off of that field. He felt like he had to hold James Skowski back, who also didn't play that night. Here's the thing about Clemson with Trevor Lawrence in. We know about his arm. It's the run game. Travis Etienne and 16 Lawrence, something that Notre Dame did not have to be concerned about in the first matchup. Now they do. When you load up against the run, which Notre Dame did against Uiagalelei, now you've got a concern because you got the run game, and of course, you're leaving your corners, which to me is the biggest concern Notre Dame has. The corners on islands against the skill of Clemson. That's a little bit of a catch-22 for the Notre Dame safeties. Do they get up? Do they stay back? I think Clark Lee, the defensive coordinator, will be trying to kind of try to stay one step ahead of Clemson all night.
Yeah, the job is harder, but they think they did a lot of things they can improve upon defensively from that first game. Then you got Ian Book, the 6-footer from California, the scrambler, the dual threat guy, who also arrives with a chip on his shoulder in this game.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Notre Dame, you think about Notre Dame in 2020, I think of physicality. I think of offensive linemen. I think of tight ends. But we also, of course, know what Ian Book brings to the table. Let's talk tonight about what they've got to do with the line of scrimmage. That was second play of the game. If you don't have gap integrity and you miss a gap, you've got 2 guys in one spot. This will happen with 23, Kyron Williams. He's got the speed to make you pay for it. That's why I think Brent Venables has been stressing how important that is to try to get a line. The other thing, and this will be big tonight, his creativity. You better have the ability to squeeze the pocket. You better not get upfield because you give him lanes to step into, and that's where he can create. So Brent Venables said all week, we've been trying to talking about getting a push up the middle and also on the outside, squeezing him. Make Ian Book play from the pocket. If we can do that, we think we've got a chance to play well defensively.
Handled the bits beautifully in game one, didn't he? Clemson's defensive front is healthier. The Irish offensive line is not healthier. We'll detail that coming up. The ACC Championship and a lot more at stake. The Tigers and the Irish in a beautiful afternoon in Charlotte.
College Football Playoff National Championship, Monday, January 11th on ESPN.
You're watching a presentation of the ACC on ESPN. Crowd of 5,200, dictated by the governor, dispersed in this lower deck. So it's a tough, precious ticket to have for the fans on both sides. These teams have met twice in recent years. 2015, the deluge in Death Valley, a 21-3 Clemson lead evaporated, and the Irish almost tied it on this two-point conversion attempt by Deshaun Kaiser, but the Tigers defense rose up at the goal line. Dabo got emotional and coined a new catchphrase.
And tonight, hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
Then in the semifinal 3 years later was bring Trevor Lawrence and bring a pass rush that made it a miserable afternoon for Ian Book and the Irish. Domination 30-3. Irish have come a long way since then. Dabo Swinney's teams have won 7 consecutive payback games, trying to avenge a loss the last time out against an opponent, trying for a 6th consecutive ACC championship. Never been done. Brian Kelly and the Irish bring in the longest win streak in the FBS, 16 in a row. Trying to beat a great team the second time in 6 weeks.
Clemson wins the toss and defers, gets their defense on the field, and Ian Book gets the ball first.
Just like the first game when Kelly won the toss and made his statement by taking the ball and scoring on the first play. So we'll see how this Irish opening possession unfolds. Buckle up, round 2 for the ACC Championship. Playoff bids and seedings, all of it on the line here in Charlotte today. Can Williams duplicate his monster night against the Tigers the first time? P.T. Potter's kicks are rarely returned. He's got a powerful leg, and typically that produces a touchback. This one, a chance for Kiss Tyree, the freshman from the 2. Tigers kickoff coverage team usually isn't very busy, and they stop Tyree at the 21-yard line. A lot of focus on the offensive line. Take a look at the skill players first. Skoranek, McKinley, 2 big targets. Davis really hurt the Tigers the first time.
He sure did from the slot, but I think, as you said, Chris, it's the size of the tight ends and the length of these receivers and how they can go up and make plays. And this offensive line across the board, a lot of experience. Lugg comes, he's back at center after last week's start. Jared Patterson has been out for the rest of the year, but this offensive line is good as we've seen in college football.
And it's Williams. No 65-yard gain here, just a couple yards up the middle. Clemson defense, terrific freshman season by Miles Murphy, and the difference, Tyler Davis joining his buddy Brissy in the middle, Kirk.
Yeah, 13 in the middle. I had to keep a guy to keep an eye on. 47, Skalski, the true leader. Everything that Trevor Lawrence means to the Clemson offense, that's what Skalski means to this defense. Mike Jones, also 6, did not play in the first matchup. And here's the secondary. Nolan Turner, the only real veteran back there.
Xavier Thomas is a scratch for Clemson. It is not COVID related, but he will not play in the ballgame. Williams eludes a couple tackles, but has to work hard to earn a couple of yards. Stopped by Goodrich and Charleston. It's third down.
Well, they are flying and getting after the ball. You see the backside defensive end. The freshman Murphy gets in there behind that counter play, just trying to chase it down, gets his hands on him. But you can see on the play side, you got safeties down, getting involved. 18 there. Charleston trying to get off of the big tight end. Brock Wright's block. A lot of white jerseys flying to the ball there.
Irish had a big edge on third down conversions in the first meeting. They need 5 here. 3 receivers bunched to the left. Book against a 4-man rush. takes a look, backpedals and tries to create, and has to fire to a wide-open Mayer. The big freshman tight end was left alone. Book spotted him. It's a first down to the 37.
There's what Clemson talked about, trying not to get out of position. Watch Simpson trying to do everything they can to not let Book get out. Book's instincts are to create when things aren't there. See how he wants to get out? They do a good job of keeping him there, but now give Ian Book credit. Makes a play from the pocket, keeps his eyes downfield, and at the last second, he finds the freshman Mayer for the first down.
31st catch for Mayer. Made some big mental errors early in that first game, but then atoned for him with some big plays late. Book looking to get the ball out quickly. It's complete, and it's Davis. First down into Clemson territory.
Inside receiver, just a little out cut, but watch in the back. Watch the Clemson secondary. It looks like somebody loses his footing. They're dropping back. A little bit confused there. It had two outside receivers getting vertical downfield, and the defensive backs just kind of went with him, gave him a nice opening there to the outside, throws in rhythm early there to Davis.
Senior from Texas, one of the heroes of that classic Notre Dame victory. Bad snap. Book has to fall on it. This has been a problem with the injuries that you detailed at center. Josh Luck getting the start. That was not a good snap.
No, and I think it has everything to do. Watch him how he's moving to his right. Anytime a center has a big reach block, has to move to his right or left, you worry with an inexperienced center of getting the ball back clean. That ball went to his far left, and he's athletic enough to be able to get down and get on the football. But that play was designed to go right. He overcompensated that, and the snap went too far left.
Happened against Syracuse, but it figures to be a lot more costly today if you get too many more of those. On 2nd and 15, Book fires far side. McKinley just turned his head in time to see the football. Makes the catch at the 45.
What I love about Ian Book is the confidence he has in his receivers. I mean, these guys are covered a lot of the times, and the ball's out. And these receivers trust that the ball will be out. They twist up front, gets picked up. You can see he throws that low and away. And on time, and Chris, you're right, McKinley, by the time he flipped his head around, that ball's halfway through the air.
Tricky catch.
See what Venables does here on third down. Known for how multiple he can be, a lot of twists, a lot of pressure.
They bring 3. Book has time, gets it out. Once again, it's Mayer with a third down catch for a first down at the 30. So no pressure, and they paid for it.
Yeah, boy, this is a great target to have right here. He's going to work to the outside and just kind of sit. Has a soft cushion. Book looks left, works through his progressions, works from that pocket, an area that he's really worked on to improve. Just being able to manage the pocket, not always bailing out, relying on his athletic ability. And if I'm a quarterback and I got Michael Mayer at 6'5", about 240 pounds, on third down, what a target to look up, especially with that soft cushion that Clemson gave him.
Under center on first down. Williams is met in the backfield and will be dropped for a big loss. Instant penetration there, and then Malcolm Green was able to clean it up.
They did. They brought pressure right from the outside and kind of did a good job of disguising it. Green gets in there. Nobody's able to detect that early enough, and that's what blew the play up. But you could see the rest of there he is right there over the slot receiver. He shot so quick, pulled that trigger so quick, that Skoranek had no chance to be able to get to the inside to slow him down. Good call there by Brent Venables from the field.
Irish behind the sticks on second down again. Book takes off, has some space, and will scoot out inside the 30. Got 7 yards back. Charleston forced him out. Third down again coming up.
A lot of movement up front. Watch the Clemson defensive line on the left side. See the movement? Ian Book has good vision. Quarterback, it almost looked like a quarterback draw anyway. He was going to follow Kyron Williams through the middle. Remember, Brent Venables stressed to us, third downs. Man, they were 10 of 19. We've got to do such a better job on third down this time around. And so far on this drive, the opening drive, they're 2 of 2.
Let's find Michael Mayer. He's made 2 consecutive third down catches. He's out there to the right next to Davis. Tigers bring pressure this time. They pick it up, and Book has time for a moment, but then James Skalski, the man who could not play, injured the first time, drops Book for a loss.
Skowski they bring the blitz with Turner from the outside here, Skowski here, and it's really good coverage downfield. For the most part, Kyron Williams gets in there. He's not afraid in pass protection, but Skowski comes off and gets free. And this is what he was looking at. Really nobody open at all. He saw Skoranek go down to the field. Fell.
Makes it a longer field goal for Charlotte native Jonathan Dorr. Mayer running out there very late on the left side of protection. But Dorr from beyond 50, 0 for 2 this year. This from 51. Drives it, and not quite. No, he get it by a yard. I thought it was short. It just crawled over the crossbar. So the sack doesn't cost him 3, and the hometown kicker makes good. And the Irish on top here in Charlotte by an inch. No tears yet in Charlotte, but some blood and sweat. Ian Book with some bloody knuckles on each of his hands after that opening possession, just wiped on the pants. Kirk looks to be okay, but it was early on in that possession he started bleeding.
Yeah, it was, and if there's one guy not coming off the field for bloody knuckles, it's 12 for Notre Dame.
And Etienne, a chance. Dorr's kickoffs rarely reach the end zone. That's dangerous when you got number 9 back there returning kicks as he does in the bigger games. Etienne, 6 straight games under 100 yards, looking to bust out. Rogers and Powell both hurt the Irish in the opening meeting.
Yeah, Etienne was bottled up. 18 carries, only 28 yards. Amari Rogers got to be a difference maker in space. This offensive line, we could talk about Notre Dame loading the line of scrimmage to stop the run. This line's got to do a much better job of sustaining blocks against a very talented front 6 of Notre Dame.
Middle of that line got worked over by the Irish front, didn't they?
They did.
First play for Clemson. They get it out quickly. The throw is behind Rogers, but he makes the catch and spins out of bounds. This Irish defense, exceptional. We talked about smothering the ground game. Tungavaloa, Amosa, Heinisch are tough inside. Ogundeji off the edge is dangerous.
Yeah, I think Heinisch is very underrated up front. You see really White is the leader in the middle, gets everybody lined up. Hamilton 14, Crawford, the veteran captain, also in the back 20.
Number 6, Wusu Koromoa made the big play, returning the Etienne fumble for a touchdown. Etienne in the flat, not much there. In fact, he'll lose a couple of yards, and old Jeremiah introduced himself to him early here.
Sure did. Great leverage on the football. Anytime you go up against Travis Etienne, you've got to have more than one body trying to contain him, and you saw 2 different defenders in his face trying to slow him down. The first was Clarence Lewis, the freshman corner.
Early 3rd and long for Lawrence.
And here they come, showing blitz right here and right here. Trevor Lawrence looking over, see if Notre Dame backs out of that.
Struggled big time on 3rd down at South Bend with Uiagalelei at quarterback, 4 of 15. Irish twist, come after him. The throw is on target and caught by E.J. Williams, and the freshman has a first down before Lewins tackled him. True freshman that time.
Yeah, with a big, tall quarterback, anytime you can get slant route, anything to the middle with those blitzing linebackers, you want to go up and over top of them, which is what he did against Bauer there coming in.
Play action on 1st down. Lawrence launching downfield and unable to locate the ball was Cornell Powell. Kyle Hamilton, the safety, the excellent safety in coverage.
And they're really trying to mix things up, trying to look for Powell against a safety, even though Kyle Hamilton is talented. I really think he wanted to try to find Amari Rogers on a wheel route on that same side of the field, down the left sideline. But both were covered pretty well.
Powell with catches of 53 and 51 yards in the opening game. Lawrence took a look at Etienne, but it's a keeper behind blockers. Breaks a tackle, and the big, long-legged quarterback finally stopped by Hamilton. A flag comes in at the tackle.
That's what we talked about in the open. This is a different offense with Trevor Lawrence in there, not just throwing, but you've got to account for his legs. Nice patience.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 26, 15-yard penalty, first down.
It's Lewis. That'll move the ball into Notre Dame territory.
Yeah, I saw Kyle Hamilton in there, 14 as well. Yeah, that's who I think it was Hamilton. They said 26, but it was 14. I love the patience. I mean, he had the patience there of a running back. He puts his hand on the back of the left tackle, Carmen, who was pulling, and it didn't look like he was going to get much, and he just kind of sat behind Carman and just kept bouncing off of blockers and eventually got the first down.
Lawrence gets it on the edge, taking a big shot as Etienne. Lifo, the talented freshman, knocked him down, but it's a nice first down game.
That's their answer with Travis Etienne. That's been what they've done a lot this year. Their whole goal is if we can't run the ball effectively with him, we've got to get him the ball in the perimeter where he's got room to try to work against a linebacker, and Leofau can fly for a freshman backer.
Etienne, the only guy in the country to run for 750 plus and have 500 plus receiving yards. That for a running back is outstanding. Second and 5, they pick up the pressure, ball deflected and intercepted. And Hamilton has the early takeaway, deflected by Drew White.
Chris, that was a little bit of a X and O match there between Trevor Lawrence and Clark Lee. He made the adjustment, got out of one play because of a look, picks up his mouthpiece. Then he decides to go to another play. Notre Dame checks out of it. You see Hamilton, he moves out to the outside. Linebacker drops instead of blitzing. White gets a hand on the ball, and then Hamilton comes up with the interception. So Clark Lee, Tony Elliott, Trevor Lawrence going back and forth, and Notre Dame wins that one.
Irish get the football back, up 3 in Charlotte.
The game on ABC is presented by Subway. Get a free footlong when you buy 2. Now only in the Subway app or online, because it's footlong season. And in part by Duke's Mayonnaise, the only mayo with that southern something, that added oomph. Duke's, it's got twang.
100,000 pounds of food donated to food banks by Duke's Mayo. Irish off the pick, second possession, Book throwing on first down, and it's complete. Off and running, Skoranek. The grad transfer from Northwestern makes an impact play. Nolan Turner forced him out.
You get free access throws, you got to be able to take them. That's what he has. He's able to get the ball out again quickly, goes right over the hand of Mike Jones, but he's got a soft corner in Goodrich, and that's why he makes that throw. He felt he could easily be able to get the ball over and around 6, and with that soft corner, plenty of room. And Skoranek is a big guy, physical guy. He shows what he can do after the catch.
Bloody knuckles, Kirk, no problem for Book, who's 5 for 5. He was 10 for 10, remember, in the first quarter of that first meeting. Delayed handoff to Williams. He tests the middle and gained just a couple. 5.2 yards per carry for Notre Dame in the first meeting. That made Venables sick to his stomach.
Absolutely. And I really think, going back to what you said about getting into a rhythm, Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator, is a 28-year-old, by the way, former Irish quarterback, doing a really good job, not just tonight, but all year, of finding a way to get the offense into a rhythm and getting his quarterback to settle into the game and be able to kind of find what he likes to do, as they show a lot of different looks with formations and personnel groupings to try to get a handle on what Clemson's doing.
Calling plays for the first time today on a really big postseason stage. 28's incredible, right? Williams has a crease, has the corner, makes a cut, and muscles down near the 10-yard line. Forced out by Kendrick, but Kyron Williams picking up where he left off in South Bend.
One of the concerns of defending Notre Dame, Chris, are the tight ends, the pre-snap movement. Look at Clemson's defense. Skowski in the middle, trying to make sure everybody's on the same page, and then, oh, boom, the ball snapped, and look at the hole. So it's not just they got a big line, they got big tight ends. It's the pre-snap movement, the way they make you communicate, make you make adjustments, and before you know it, the ball is snapped, and one guy's out of a gap, and boom, there's a big lane for the back to run through.
Williams, one of the best stories in college football. 4 carries a year ago, 1,000 yards this season. 3 tight ends in the game. Williams again, makes a cut, breaks a tackle, and spins down to the 5.
Left side of that offensive line. I mean, you know it's coming, and it's still tough to deal with. Tommy Tremble has made a name for himself all year with what he can do. Skoranek, he's not a tight end 11 to the outside. That's a receiver. But look at 24 pushing people around. You do not want to get matched up with 24 in blue. And whoever gets that assignment, especially down in this area, goes, all right, here we go. I saw it all week, the last 2 weeks on film, and now I got to try to deal with it. Now they're over here.
Second and goal. Can the Irish cash in, or they'd be forced to settle for 3? Williams trapped behind the line. Both teams kicked a lot of field goals in the first meeting. This is an important moment early in the game.
And Chris, just as I'm bragging on the tight end, saying I don't want to go up against him, watch the true freshman Brazee shoot the gap, gets underneath the 24 with that sudden step. I'll tell you, that guy is a superstar. Just by getting in there, he doesn't make the play, but it frees up others like Tyler Davis to get off their blocks because of the way he was able to disrupt the timing of that play in the backfield.
Now what can Reese dial up or Book create here? Chris Tyree is the back on 3rd and goal. Tigers crowding the line. Brings some pressure. Book tries to make something happen on the run and fires out of the end zone. Really no chance to make a play there. Skalski was chasing him down. Here comes another field goal try.
Man, that is such good coverage. You know, when you see a quarterback start to take off, it's easy to get your eyes into that backfield and get concerned. Look at the top right corner. Look how they're not concerned. You've got Skalski chasing him down, allows the defensive backs to stay on their man, and Ian Book has nothing to do with the ball but throw it away.
Dorr set an ACC championship game record with that 51-yarder last time out. This is just a 24-yarder. And that one, no good. So he makes the 51-yarder, but in his homecoming game, Brian Kelly's team leaves points on the field. And it's still 3-0. That is a miss from close range to remember as this game unfolds. Doink. Consoled by his long snapper, Michael Vincent. Dorr made the 25-footer for birdie. He missed the 2-footer for par.
It's very true.
A lazy technique there, says my spotter, an ex-kicker, Mike Black. So Lawrence off the interception, back to work from the 20. He keeps the football. He's got some space. He's got deceptive speed. Every team that faces him says that.
Well, it's because of his stride. You know, his gait, he covers a lot of ground with his long legs at 6'6". And again, you know, a guy that's projected to be the first pick overall, you think about him picking a defense apart and a secondary apart. You see the first pick in 313 attempts the last time out. But Chris, he loves to run the ball. He loves to be looked at as the toughest guy on the field in his own mind.
ETN up the middle, they'll move the sticks. Yeah, blitzing hasn't been an effective technique because of what you saw for Trevor. Also the first pick that he has thrown in the 3 ACC championship game appearances. The Tigers lucky to be down only 3 in the final minute of this first quarter.
Yeah, it was a nice job by Brent Venables' defense, not giving up touchdowns there.
Had the sack in the first Notre Dame possession to force the long field goal. Lawrence to throw on first down, and we'll take a shot. Wide open is Rogers, and he's gone. Just like that, Clemson takes the lead. It's Sean Crawford, the safety. Tough matchup.
Very tough matchup with Amari Rogers. He's known as a guy that can make plays underneath and shake tackles because of his balance and lower body strength. But it gives you an idea of his versatility and what he can do.
67-yard strike and the 7th touchdown for Rogers. They said, we got to get Amari in space. That was Tony Elliott's plan. They got him in space that time.
Yeah, it's a switch release to get him one-on-one on the outside with E.J. Williams. He's on the inside here. Williams is here. He's going to work underneath, and you'll see the switch. And watch Crawford, who's a former corner, who has ability, but kind of gets caught up. He gets off to a slow start because of that switch. Now he's playing catch-up. And you can see Amari Rogers has great speed now that he's fully recovered from that ACL. There's a great look at it. E.J. Williams takes his man. Notre Dame rolls the dice on 1st and 10 and plays man-to-man and leaves those Clemson's receivers alone. That's the thing Clark Lee said. Early downs, we're going to have to take the chance. Our guys are going to have to hold up. And that time, Trevor Lawrence makes them pay.
Trevor says, I saw it all the way. Big week for Rogers. He graduated, as Lawrence did, on Thursday. He let game day viewers go behind the scenes. He kept a camera with him all week, getting a sense of what it's like to both graduate and get ready for a big football game.
What great timing. Congratulations to him and all the other players around the country that were able to graduate. It's a big deal.
Tyree from the 1. High kickoff allowed the coverage team to run down there, and they stop him around the 15-yard line. Interesting quarterback matchup. Of course, Ian Book, unheralded, originally committed to Wazoo, but number 517 in the recruiting rankings. Of course, Lawrence was number 1. He came in already beefed up with a reputation. September 2018, both were named the starting quarterbacks. Different trajectories, of course. Each the all-time win leader at their schools. Got that the same day earlier this month. So linked historically a couple of ways. They've not met, but a lot of mutual respect between these guys. And now it's Book's turn to answer. 2 field goal attempts in the 2 Irish drives, but now they're behind. End around to Avery Davis, who flashes the speed. They fail to contain him, and he muscles out across the 35.
This is a nice job of being able to get an ability to stretch the defense out wide. You know, whether you throw the ball outside, you run the ball as a stretch play, or you get the jet sweep outside. Look at those tight ends working downfield. That time, Brock Wright doing a really good job. And I love Avery Davis. He's throwing that stiff arm, trying to stay in bounds. He wasn't even thinking about going out of bounds there.
So in the first quarter, the Irish run 17 plays. They average about 8 yards per play. 1 field goal make, 1 miss, and the electric strike from Lawrence to Rogers, and it's Clemson up 7-3 after a quarter. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Game presented by Subway. Moments ago, the Irish and Tigers came together on the hash marks to demonstrate their commitment to equality, treating everybody with respect and dignity. Part of the ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, it has announced various initiatives. Beginning of the second quarter, and Brooks on the run, looking to make something happen, throws downfield and has a man wide open. Catch made by Tommy Tremble, the other tight end. Vicious blocker, very capable receiver.
Yeah, he just gets lost in coverage here. He slides out from right here and works to the outside. Nobody's able to get out there to help out. You got a receiver in the flat right there that occupies Mike Jones, and it's just a bust. He actually had 2 Notre Dame receivers that were open. Trimble goes up and over Nolan Turner.
30-yard gain.
What an athlete he is.
Williams direct snap, bit of a wrinkle. He is slammed down hard by Skalski, who lets him know about it. Number 47, motivated this afternoon, and a smile after the play.
Well, he's the guy. I mean, he missed this game. It really affected him personally to be able to not be there with his guys. Everybody talked about Trevor Lawrence not playing in that game, but I think it was really James Skalski. I mean, he's a crazy man. He's a middle linebacker. He cannot hit enough. Like
there's no doubt he's playing through pain today.
Yeah.
Had a sports hernia. Only played a handful of snaps in the last game against Virginia Tech, but has had 2 more weeks to heal up. Williams picks his way to the 31.
I say that that's a compliment.
I know it is.
He's a crazy man, as in he's a middle linebacker, you know. I mean, he's a throwback, a guy that likes contact, but as I said, he plays such a pivotal role in being able to recognize things. Look at his eyes, almost like a Mike Singletary, being able to see something, dissect it, get people lined up, and then attack.
Remember what his dad told him long ago? He shared it with us before the playoff game. Son, when you hit him, make him feel you. And he does throughout his career. Yeah.
He took that advice early.
Yeah.
Let's see again. Let's see 3rd down. They've been rushing 3, dropping 8. They've been blitzing some. Skalski likes to come on 3rd down. There he comes.
They bring the pressure. Williams runs right into the blitz, tries to bounce off and make something happen, and is fortunate to fall forward for a couple of yards. Skalski eventually knocked him down.
And right on cue, right? I mean, he timed up his blitz perfectly right here, and then watch what he does to the offensive line. He gets into the lug, pushes him back right into Kyron Williams, and now the play's blown up. Now you allows the rest of the defense to rally to the ball. And you can see it's 4 down territory with that play call. I was a little surprised that on 3rd down they ran the ball, but now that you see they're going for it on 4th down, it makes sense. They're just trying to get a little bit closer.
Kelly did not like the look clearly of that missed chip shot earlier, so big play here. They need a long 3.
There's Mayer.
From the pocketbook, trying to escape on the run again. Launches downfield. It's off the hands of Davis, who had a chance for a crucial catch. Couldn't make it, and the Tiger defense makes a stand.
Davis does a good job in the scramble drill. Mayer actually runs a route right here and is taken away by Nolan Turner. Right in the middle of the field, you got Skowski and you got Turner. Watch three work across the field, but watch how fast he accelerates. Instead of settling down, Ian Book tried to bring him back, so receiver and quarterback not on the same page. They're on fourth down.
Handful of plays could decide the game. That might be one. Book, 3 Irish possessions, 2 of them ending with missed opportunities, and now Lawrence up that 67-yard touchdown pass to Rodgers, back to work and finding Powell on the edge, who escapes out near midfield.
And we got to show this again because it was a fourth down and a big play. Davis coming across the scramble. You see his defender, Malcolm Green, goes down. He's all alone. Look at him accelerating. He's got to throttle down. Ian Book anticipated him throttling down, and Tommy Rees knows they miss a golden opportunity to keep that drive alive.
You see the importance of that missed chance in the face of the 28-year-old play caller. Tigers immediately move the ball to midfield. This offense has found some rhythm in the pass game now. Lawrence on a keeper, gets around the edge. He ran away from Owusu Koramoah, who finally tracks him down, but he picked up 8.
Yeah, they respect Travis Etienne so much that they'll squeeze down on that zone read look, and then they'll give Trevor Lawrence room to get to the outside and run the football. I mean, this offense attacks in so many different areas, not just attacks the explosiveness of it, whether it's the vertical pass, Etienne in the middle, Etienne to the outside, Trevor Lawrence to the outside.
Etienne just 1 carry so far, but the Tigers have run only a dozen plays. Notre Dame has completely dominated possession, about 14 minutes to 5. Second and short, Lawrence. There's a miscommunication. He's trying to find young E.J. Williams. Lewis was on him again.
That's the difference with Trevor Lawrence from his freshman year, when he just got the play call and tried to execute it the best he could, which he did a great job of for Dabo and the offense, to now in his 3rd year. It's about the 4th time we've seen him not look over, but make a call on his own and feel comfortable in making an adjustment based on the look of the Notre Dame defense.
On 3rd and 2, this is Etienne, and he'll barrel for a first down to the 40. Still, those yards are tough to come by against this Irish run defense.
Well, he's just trying to get outside of the defensive end. If he can do that, Ogundeji kind of feeling that. He's respectful again this time of Lawrence. You see that good job of the defense, but on short yardage situation and the speed and how explosive and instinctive Etienne is, easy to get that first down.
Lawrence has to escape, does, and avoids the sack. Instead, it's a 5-yard first down gain.
Tungabaloa Amosa is in there. He's got a chance to bring him down. He just can't bring him down. You know, that's one thing to be able to get in there and get off your man, be able to shed that block. Now you're in the backfield. Now you've got him, right? I mean, you wrapped him up. He's, again, 6'6". With that length and strength, he pulls out of it. So instead of a negative play, now you're 2nd and 4.
You talked about the long legs, the strong legs, a part of it. He's beefed up this year. Very difficult to get to the ground. Ches Malusi takes a turn at tailback. 2nd and 4. 4-man rush. Lawrence steps up, delivers across the middle, and wide open is Williams. Williams headed to the end zone, and the Tigers stretch the lead as the freshman scores his 2nd touchdown of the season.
Davis Allen takes Kyle Hamilton right down the middle of the field, and by clearing him out, watch him go here and watch what happens to the middle of the field. Kyle Hamilton, an All-American type of safety, sees the tight end going deep. He goes with him. Trevor's able to buy a little time, and there's the opening over the middle of the field. It took some time. He needed this to scramble, but that zone that was vacated by Hamilton getting deep opens up, and Trevor Lawrence again recognizes it, throws it accurately, and another touchdown.
And Williams, a young playmaker who stepped into the void with so many excellent receivers unable to go on Clemson. 14-3 Tigers.
The ACC Championship game presented by Subway on ABC is brought to you by Pacific Life. More than 150 years strong. Trust in your tomorrow. Burger King. Mix and match your favorites for just $5. And Ford. Built Ford proud.
Both guys born to play quarterback. Shout out to their orthodontists, too. Both had braces there, you notice. Get those teeth ready for prime time. Lawrence, a couple of successful touchdown drives. Book set to go back to work. He's been efficient so far, but Irish have been able to come up with only 3 points, even though they've driven inside to Clemson 33 times. Tyree will let it go. Irish will begin at the 25. The All-State bus here in Charlotte. What's the All-State protection spotlight?
Well, I thought we'd stay focused on this game and the importance of Skalski being back in the lineup. This is against Pitt. Just again, kind of showing the recognition. Look at that. He sees the handoff to the back flip it to the quarterback. He's trying to alert the defense that ball is about to come flying through the air. So his recognition allows a young defensive back and Andrew Booth to come over and make that interception. But that's just another example of what Skalski can do and help others besides himself with that experience.
He's having the time of his life out there so far. First down, they get the ball out to Mayer, and the tight end eludes Skalski, and they pick up 8. Maria Taylor joining us on the sidelines.
Yes, Chris. Well, you mentioned Notre Dame having their chances on offense. Ian Book, he has a very normal routine where he touches every single offensive player personnel position, but he sat down with Avery Davis and he mentioned to him that we have the opportunities here. We need to keep pushing and we're going to connect on this, but he's basically telling his teammates that they have the opportunities that are on the field. They have to capitalize now.
No doubt. It's hard to beat a team as good as Clemson if you don't cash in your opportunities. We've seen that plenty in recent years. On 2nd and 1, Book wants to take a shot and not take a sack. Look out. He's being chased, and he will be sacked by K.J. Henry off the edge, the unheralded defensive end.
That's good coverage downfield. They take everybody away. And remember what I talked about, try to keep him in that box, in the pocket. Don't let him get outside. You can see they're not in a hurry to get upfield. They're just trying to keep him squeezed in. And then eventually Henry, with the great coverage downfield, comes off with a block of Hainsey and gets into the backfield to make the sack. But good coverage, and that's exactly the way Brent Venables has drawn it up the last 2 weeks to get ready for Ian Book.
They got 40 sacks now. 7th straight season of 40-plus sacks for this Venables defense. Book trying to avoid another sack here. Can he escape? He's going to be spun down for another loss. That was Darian Kendrick who brought pressure off the corner, and the Irish will punt for the first time.
Well, there's just nobody open downfield. They're twisting and trying to affect the communication of the offensive line, but really there's a snap again, kind of gets him off balance, but he's okay. But look in the backfield. If he got rid of it right away, he had a shot to the right of Skoranek, but he didn't see him. Then he still goes into that scramble drill, and Clemson a good job again of bottling him up.
Williams picked up the block beautifully when they blitzed the first time. He whiffed on that block, and it cost them. Bramlett to boot it away. It's a high, good boot that's going to drive Rodgers back, and he makes a fair catch at the 26. But Lawrence and the Tigers back to work, up 11. Biggest deficit of the season for Notre Dame. And it usually is, but the weather is much better than it typically is for the ACC Championship game. The Bear ready for the Athletic Trivia question.
You two have been clamoring for some more recent history with the Athletic Trivia question, so we will accommodate you today. Today's Athletic Trivia question, note the Irish, of course, second in the college football playoff rankings, down double digits right now. Who's the only CFP number 2 to lose on Championship Saturday?
Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Lawrence rolls on first down and fires. This passing game is in rhythm. It's Rodgers with the catch, and they move the sticks.
Yeah, nice layers, different levels of this the offense, and the way they're able to get a receiver downfield, intermediate, and shallow with Davis Allen. Right now, Trevor Lawrence has the upper hand. They're even going a little tempo here, trying to get Clark Lee's defense lose some of their aggressiveness.
Option look. Lawrence keeps it. makes a cut, slides down wisely. Another first down in Notre Dame territory.
Little speed option. It looked like Notre Dame had some penetration, but he's able to get around that. Like Cross got in there right there, but see his speed. Now he's just attacking downhill at Frosky, and there's nobody left there. So it's go tempo, speed option, and again, the versatility of this attack.
Lawrence has run it 5 times already for 42 yards. Looking to throw on first down. Clean pocket, delivers, open man, catch made, and who else? It's Rodgers who's becoming a serious problem for Crawford over there.
Well, that's where the arm strength comes into play. It's nice to have a quarterback go to the field and make this throw. You know, it's rare to see a guy throw it 35 yards on a line like that away from the boundary and into the field. And I think Notre Dame, you're having to err somewhere, and you're hoping that they don't attack to the field like that. And wide open, Amari Rodgers.
4 catches already for senior, playing his final ACC championship game. Etienne knocked down. That's been his best run today. They moved the sticks again. First down to the 12.
Boy, Tony Elliott is feeling pretty good with this offense. The way these last few possessions since the interception, they've had the upper hand and pretty much doing what they want. One step ahead of Clark Lee, running, throwing, plenty of space to work with.
Tony Elliott, lots of experience calling plays in these big games. There are rumors that Auburn is interested in talking to Elliott to be their next head coach. He tried to shoot that down and maintained that his focus is squarely on Clemson. Didn't say he wasn't interested. And why wouldn't you want to talk to Tony Elliott if you're hiring coaches?
Yep. He and Brett Venables will have plenty of opportunities at some point in their careers.
Of course, his counterpart, we talked about Clark Lee, off to Vanderbilt whenever Notre Dame's season is over as their new head coach. That's his alma mater. Rodgers in motion. They flip it in the flat, just inaccurate. Missed Etienne, who was being chased down by White.
That time Dylan Hayes does a nice job on the edge, kind of collapses and then just shoots, gets into the face of Trevor Lawrence. Drew White was there in coverage anyway, but Hayes doing a good job of applying the pressure.
Can the Irish keep the Tigers out of the end zone, avoid going down 18, which would be by far their biggest deficit of the season? Feels important here. Need 8 on third down. Four-man rush. Lawrence slant, incomplete. Tried to get the ball to Williams. Nicely played by the fellow freshman Lewis, and it's fourth down.
Yeah, they go with the in route to the outside with Williams, but give Lewis a lot of credit for getting his left hand. He's in pretty good position, and then that left hand gets in to be able to knock that football away. He's got his eyes, falls a little bit behind the intended receiver Williams, which gave Lewis a better chance to knock it away.
P.T. Potter, solid at kicker, 16 of 21 this year. From 27, no problem with his chip shot. And the Tigers tack on 3, stretch the lead to 14, 4:28 before halftime. Guess. Maybe it was Ohio State when they lost to Michigan State. The Spartans pulled an upset in 15 year 2 of the playoff. Is the answer to the question.
What year did Johnny Manziel was pre-playoff, right? Because remember when A&M beat Alabama?
Yes.
That was an upset, but
the key to the athletic trivia question today is it says Championship Saturday CFP era. So the answer to today's athletic trivia question is, in a similar situation, 2017 Auburn. Remember, Auburn beat the Bulldogs at Jordan Hare in the regular season, blew them out, then went to Atlanta, and Georgia returned the favor in the conference title game, and that was the year that the Bulldogs wound up reaching the national championship game.
Yeah.
Good one, Barry. We should have known there'd be some tie-in to today's game. The old rematch, Championship Saturday.
Exactly.
Well, Clemson has arrived and made good on their promise to play much better, and the chip on the shoulder, Kirk, you've talked about, has been evident, especially on this defensive side. Book looking to throw, and once again his pressure bumped into a lineman, stays alive and fires on the run to Tremble, who makes the catch inbounds right near the marker at the 35.
I mean, it's a Houdini act by Ian Book. That's what he's known for. This guy's he's going to will his team to be able to make plays. Gets away. He bumped off of his right tackle, Hainsey. I thought he was just going to throw it away. Did Tremble keep his feet in bounds? It looks like he did for a big gain on 1st and 10. That looked like a disaster. Ends up a first down.
That is some delicate footwork for a guy who's about 250. They haven't gotten the running game going here. This is Sibo Flemister. Had just 1 carry in that opening game, and the Tigers are all over him. Tyler Davis on the stop.
Remember, Tyler Davis did not play in the game when they went to South Bend. This is all about getting your defense slanting. That's doing a good job of scouting an offense. They're on the hash into the boundary. You're going to slant and angle the defensive line into that boundary, anticipating a potential run that way. Worked out perfectly for Clemson.
That's just pure power. Lugg couldn't handle him. Now Book again scanning the field. Nobody to throw to. Excellent coverage again. This scoots out at the 35, and it's going to be 3rd and long.
Well, they keep mixing up their looks. You know, right now, Ian Book looks a bit uncomfortable with reading the coverage.
Picture not cleared for him at all.
It doesn't. I mean, remember I mentioned he had Skoranek on that 3rd down where he just had to see it and get it out quickly. He's Clemson mixing up their looks, dropping people underneath some of the easier routes, the intermediate throws, making him hesitant. And that's a lot of times where he starts to scramble, but because they're keeping him in the pocket, there's nowhere to go.
Early success on 3rd down to Mayer with the 2 catches, but 0 for 4 since then. Again, no easy access. Dumps it down to Williams. That's a big ask for a running back, and he can't get there. Knocked down 5 yards short, 4th down.
There's a flag down there late.
It's in the secondary. They're pointing Notre Dame's way, though, and the Tigers are pleased by the preliminary indication. Jeff Heiser, veteran ACC, white hat in charge of this crew today.
Got a push in the back maybe by McKinley.
Only 1 flag so far. It was the face mask on Hamilton. Clemson has not been penalized.
Again, Ian Book really nowhere to go with the football.
That was just a check down and hope that Williams could make 3 guys
there is no
miss.
foul for offensive pass interference. The pass was caught behind the line of scrimmage.
So pick up the flag, but and still a punting situation with this Notre Dame offense. And Book kind of grudgingly leaves the field. He didn't want to, but Lawrence is going to get the ball back now.
He's got the windows that he does have are tight, and the ball just needs to get out in a hurry in rhythm instead of those hitches, scramble. It needs to be back, ball out, and that's the only time these receivers are open.
Bramlett boots it to Rogers. Another good kick and a fair catch made at the 12-yard line. 2:10 to go before the break. Trevor back to work.
Yeah, he's really settled in since that interception early in this game. And we mentioned when the safeties are deep, you got to be concerned not only about ETN, but Trevor Lawrence in the run game. And Clark Lee, he's got to roll the dice and at times be 1 high safety. Trevor Lawrence looking one way, going back the other way to Amari Rogers for a huge play. And then also he's had time to work through the progression. Steps up into the pocket, finds E.J. Williams working across, and that's his 2nd touchdown. And showing a little bit of fire, a little bit of emotion. I know he was not happy to miss that game when the first time they played Notre Dame. Felt helpless standing there watching.
Sure did. Wearing a mask and not a helmet. Not the most rah-rah vocal guy, but the leadership.
Ball start. Offense. Number 17. Penalty is 5 yards. First down.
There's the first flag. It's on Powell. The leadership, making everybody calm in the huddle, the intangibles, but also the quiet, fierce competitiveness that they talk about with number 16.
Well, and all the experience. I mean, you're playing a quarterback that's got tremendous future in Uwe Ungalale, who's making his 2nd start. And you lose all that experience from Trevor Lawrence. Again, see how he's recognizing. He's not looking over to get the call. He's recognizing and then making the adjustment.
Works the play clock down to 2, looks to throw, has to escape, and from the goal line just launches it into the bench. Ogundeji was there trying to bring him down for a safety.
You know, and I don't know what he saw. You know, I don't know if he's trying to go here, but he gets pressure. Ogundeji off to the right there is able to work around McFadden and eventually almost comes up with a sack near the goal line. And Trevor, all he could do is throw it away.
You can see the aggressive approach from Elliott trying to add to this lead before halftime. They'll get the ball to begin the third quarter as well.
Notre Dame probably consider maybe using a timeout here.
ETN, though, picks up about 7. It sets up a third down and about 7.
Get all 3 of their timeouts. They've been able to move the ball in his first half. Just big key that Brian Kelly talked about besides third down success tonight and maintaining possession was getting into the red zone and coming away with points. I'm surprised they didn't call the timeout. I thought they might.
Meanwhile, Clemson content to just work on the clock, knowing they get the football to begin the third quarter. Often Clemson is very, very dangerous in the minutes just before halftime. Dabo talks about the first 4, but up by 14 points. Just kind of slow playing it here.
Taco Bell's Nachos Party Pack. Delicious nachos topped with all your favorites. Only at Taco Bell.
Take on a team this good, you just kind of knew when Dorr doinked it off the upright from 27, and then Notre Dame passed on the field goal attempt and had, you know, Davis wide open on the 4th down play, couldn't convert. Right away, boom, all of a sudden Rogers is there.
Yeah, and every possession when you're playing an offense like Trevor Lawrence and Clemson, you've got to come away with points. You've got to maximize your possessions. I mean, that's if you go back to the game, the first game where they beat them, they were able to do that, especially late in that game.
So even though Tigers are losing the turnover category by a couple touchdowns, need 7 on third. It's a run, ETN. And he'll move the sticks. And Travis starting to get loose a little bit. He's out to the 30.
Well, you know who gets out in front? He hands it off out here, and then Trevor Lawrence is going to get out in front of Travis Etienne. You think this play might go backside, but instead he's a lead blocker. DJ Brown, the safety, almost comes up with a tackle, but instead the peel back block by Lawrence.
Throw far side. Now they'll begin to be a little bit more aggressive. That's Powell with the catch. 59 seconds in those 2 timeouts.
He gets out in front and sees it 12. Brown has a chance to catch up to him, so he gives Etienne a chance to build up that momentum and his acceleration where he's tough to slow down.
Rogers slot left. Malusi is the back. Lawrence chased, fires, far side complete, stopped short of the first down as Galloway, the tight end. Now let's see if a timeout is spent here. And Dabo says maybe we can add to this lead. Does take the timeout with 50 seconds before halftime. We have the Dr. Pepper tuition giveaway coming up at halftime. Unlike previous years, will not take place on the field. It's held with the guys, Dude Perfect, helping out. We'll show you that. Kevin, Mark, Booger standing by for the Capital One halftime report. See what happened in the Big Ten and the Big 12. Maybe a peek ahead at the SEC championship game. Bama and Florida in Atlanta this evening.
Oklahoma Iowa State game was a good one. Oklahoma came out early, looked like they were going to blow Iowa State out, and Matt Campbell's team just kept scrapping along. Actually had the ball late within a possession, a chance to win the game, and Oklahoma wins the game with, believe it or not, with defense. The Sooners
been playing very well down the stretch.
The field, was the runner made the line to gain? That play is under further review.
Okay, well, that took a while to figure out that we got to take another look at it. Galloway, I didn't think with the naked eye got anywhere near the first down.
I thought he was short by about half a yard.
He found Hamilton combining to push him back. Here's another angle. Does he make the 40? Does the football make the 40, more importantly? No.
No.
So they had called that a first down on the field. I didn't notice that, and now they'll review it. Interesting situation here, though. If you're Dabo, who obviously has a lot of input, and you're Tony Elliott, what do you do in this situation? You're now in a position, you moved away from your own goal line out to the 40. You take that shot up the seam, you get aggressive,
oh,
try to strike deep down here and add to this lead.
Yeah, I mean, you got still 50 seconds to go. You got a great kicker. No. There's no doubt about it, whether they're short here or not. They're going to be very aggressive. They're close to midfield already.
Tom Zamorsky is replay official. Bill LeMonnier with us in the booth. Bill, we've seen plenty of extended ACC replays for plays that don't seem to need it. I'm going to be honest with you.
This one, though, difference between a first down, critical time with them moving. The head linesman on this side did mark the ball short, but for some reason the line judge on the near side, who kind of got pushed off the play, he marked it as a first down. We've got a great camera angle. Replay's going to reverse this. It's going to be back to that spot short.
Great job to right a wrong. It just takes a long time. The command center here in the conference gets involved quite heavily sometimes in these replays.
I understand the command center philosophy, but I think sometimes the command centers get involved in things, and that lengthens out the replay of call.
After further review, the runner was stopped short of the line of the game. The ball will be put at the 39-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Clemson is still charged as timeout.
So it's good use of the replay, but I mean, they replayed everything and reviewed the coin toss, I think, the first game. It was unbelievable how long they took.
So what they're doing here, Clemson's huddling up because they're going to assume they're going to get the first down on 3rd and 1, and then they're going to go super turbo tempo. They've already got that second play call, and going back to your question, you're going to see them get very aggressive here in the final 50 seconds to try to, at the very least, get 3 points.
So get the first down, save the timeout, but go tempo and take a shot.
Yep.
Etienne does get the first down.
And look at Trevor
to the 48.
Look at Trevor. He's already getting everybody lined up. And now it's a matter of how quickly they can get aligned. Unless he may see if they want to snap the ball or try to fire it just to kill the clock.
Less than 20 yards, and they're in Potter's field goal range. He's made one from 52 in his career.
See, I still think if you know Dabo Swinney, you know Tony Elliott, the confidence they have in Trevor Lawrence, it's not just about field goal range. They've got Notre Dame on the ropes. They get the ball to start the second half. They're going to try to find a crease. You got E.J. Williams, you got Amari Rodgers, you got Cornell Powell. Notre Dame knows that. They're back trying to prevent it, but Clemson's going to try to take shots.
Over the middle, Etienne dragged down. I agree. I think they were playing poker early in the drive with bad field position, kind of playing it cautiously. As soon as he got a couple first downs, everything changes, and now another spike here.
Well, they're short of the first down. He spikes it. You see Dabo's kind of fired up over there. I don't know if Trevor thought he had a first down and he spiked it or not. Now
it's 4th down.
Yeah, now Dabo's got a decision to make. He's kind of frustrated there. He thought that Etienne had the first down.
Maybe Trevor lost track of the down there. I don't think you want to spike it on 3rd and 1.
No, I think he thought he had the first down. Everything was happening so fast, he wasn't even waiting to see the signal.
Still have that timeout with 29 seconds now. We got to make the yard here from the shotgun. Etienne will make the first down and breaks free. Forget the first down. He's got a touchdown, and the Tigers pouring it on. You figure, Kirk, today he might remind everybody how great he is after being bottled up in that game in South Bend.
No doubt about it. It was just a matter of him getting his opportunities, and here on a 4th and short, he gets out, he stretches that Notre Dame defense and then hits the accelerator and gets upfield to the end zone. Picks up a couple good blocks that helped him out.
88-yard drive. They were set back by the penalty. They did 10 plays. Notre Dame scored first. Clemson has scored 24 straight now.
Jackson Carman's going to try to work up to try to get a hand on Drew White. Drew White hesitates just a little bit right there. He gets his hand on him. Now look at all that room to work for Travis Etienne. Crawford bounces off of him. He can't come up with a tackle. And you're right. It's been so long since he's been out in the open. And I think maybe some people forget about how elite he is. One of the top backs in the country. Not just the speed, but as he's grown in this system, he's become more physical. And that's why Dabo, I told you, they were not thinking about 3 points. Whether it was a run or a throw, they were trying to come up with another touchdown.
Travis Etienne calling this the proudest week of his life, graduating from Clemson. Sports Communication says that's a tremendous achievement. It'll mean a lot for his life later on. His immediate future is in football. He's now the highest rated running back on Todd McShay's draft board, just ahead of Najee Harris. And by coming back for this final year, will end up making himself a lot of money and perhaps earning some more rings and trophies along the way, as well as that college degree. What a week for Travis.
Yeah, congratulations again to him. What a different back from Najee Harris, right? So really depend on what the need is before some kind of draft selection.
Absolutely. But not always the smart choice to come out early. Goodyear providing the aerial coverage. Keep driving from the first kickoff to the final whistle. Goodyear, more driven. How will today's results play out on Selection Sunday? All begins at noon Eastern time. Rose Bowl game presented by Capital One, the All-State Sugar Bowl. Semifinals played on New Year's Day. Reese and the gang are jumping on the plane, heading up to the mothership for that. Is it 3 or 4 hours? 4 hours?
4 hours. You'll be on there for a little bit. You know, one of the big discussions that would be on there, depending on how this game continues to go, is Notre Dame. You know, I think we all thought, no matter what the result is, Notre Dame's going to be okay. If this thing ends up getting ugly, we'll talk about it. But I think Notre Dame could still be okay. But that's something to watch in the second half. How the field of this game goes.
Yep. 10-0 coming in, down by 3 touchdowns as we head to the break, and the Tigers will get the ball to begin the third quarter. End of the half in Charlotte. The Capital One halftime report is coming up right after these messages. 24-3 for the champs.
Christmas time with you. I made a little list of my favorite things to do. I count 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10 from the beginning until the end. Celebrating Merry, Merry Christmas time with you.
Welcome back to Dr. Pepper Championship Week.
Set for the second half in Charlotte, the ACC Football Championship game on ABC, presented by Subway, as part of Dr. Pepper Championship Week in this presentation of the ACC on ESPN. Conference champs in control, up 3 touchdowns at the break. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. First possession for Clemson, Lawrence interception. After that, touchdown, field goal, and touchdown to get the ball. So the Irish, aside from getting a stop quickly here, what do they have to do?
Well, they gotta put themselves in a spot, number one, to get not only the stop. They got to get Ian Book in the running game going. The combination of the two, get back to their rhythm that they had in the first 3 possessions.
This is Etienne, who had the touchdown on behalf, and he's loose on the kickoff return. Dorr, the kicker, lowered the shoulder. Tough play, but he got run over by number 9. Pacific Life game summary of the first half here. Wow.
I'm just glad he got up from that.
Me too.
That was dangerous, but love his willingness to step in there. Trevor Lawrence, as Chris said, settled down after that interception, been able to find a lot of people open downfield. They're winning the matchup on the perimeter, which was a goal, big goal of theirs. Another goal was to try to keep Ian Book in a pocket. Make 12, play from the pocket. Remember the first game in South Bend? His creativity was difficult for Clemson to contain, and what we've seen, at least in the first half, is them doing a much better job in coverage downfield and also not allowing him to get outside making plays.
Dorr seems to be okay as the Tigers begin from the 40 and pitch it to Rodgers quickly, and he darts for about 9. Look at the collision here.
I mean, they're going to show it in super slow-mo. I mean, he accelerated through him. I know Mike Black, your spotter, our spotter up here, former kicker, he felt the pain of that. But he's up. He's up.
Remember Jay Bramlett, the punter, made a very athletic tackle in ETN, who's returning the miss of a long field goal attempt in the first game. Tremendous play in the open field to perhaps save a touchdown. And they swarm Lawrence and slam him down. Kurt Heinisch, the nose guard. Quick penetration.
Yeah, I love Heinisch. Western PA, Pittsburgh guy. Well, you talk about a guy that's just going to be able to rip through there. Does a nice job using his hands, then rips right there underneath Carmen and gets into the backfield. Very disruptive player. And here's a third down. Yeah, third downs are big on both sides. Clemson 4 of 6 so far.
Irish make some changes, get that speed pass rush lineup in there.
Yeah, they're eliminating the cushion. You can't give these receivers any room to work with on third downs.
Receivers in a 2-by-2 look. Lawrence flips it, and it's off the hands of Rodgers, defended by Crawford, who had a tough first half.
Go back to your question, what do they got to do? That's the first thing. The fact they just got, after that kickoff return, the kicker steps up, does a nice job of sacrificing himself for the betterment of the team. Defense steps up, gets off the field. A great play there by Crawford, again, to get his hand in there and knock that ball away. Now you get the ball back to Ian Book.
The safety was beaten a couple times by Rodgers, then missed a tackle on the ETN touchdown run. Makes a nice play there. This is the first punt for Clemson. Will Spires will try to pin the Irish deep. And the senior with a pretty short boot. Short-handed fair catch made to Maria Taylor.
Well, Chris, I checked in with Brian Kelly, and he said it's pretty simple that we've made our marches down the field, but our offense is just stalling out. So we have to find a way to get into the end zone. He said those are huge momentum shifts when they had to settle for those 2 field goals attempts. And as far as defense is concerned, he just said we have to stop giving up big plays. We have to find a way to control Clemson's offense in that way.
Yeah, they tackled pretty well in November. Have not tackled nearly as well today, have they?
No, they did a good job of preventing for the most part, the big play. And they've been on islands tonight, giving up some big plays.
Pop pass. Davis on the end around, just knocked down immediately by Nolan Turner, the veteran safety.
Boy, Mike Jones, really good job. He took on 2 blockers that time. Tremble, 24, and Kyron Williams, and he forced Davis back inside. Watch him all the way to the right. Look at him taking on the tight end. He takes on the back, and by doing that, he forced him back inside, and you had Clemson running to the football.
Turner, one of the Clemson Tigers who got injured on defense late in that game, wasn't out there for the overtime. And now Book running for his life, chased by Henry, who shows his speed and knocks the quarterback out right near the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and long.
Brazil 11 does a nice little spin move. Watch him. And again, they're showing pressure. They back out of it. Brazil, a little spin move, gets enough of pressure on Book to force him out. And look at, again, the coverage downfield. I thought he might just throw this one away, but instead just eats it. Combination of coverage and not giving him a chance to create has been lethal combination.
They bring pressure, and Book will be swarmed at the 5. Fast and furious Venables dials up the blitz. That was Miles Murphy and a host of white jerseys.
Yeah, Murphy gets it, but again, it's the pressure. They're showing 3 and dropping 8. They're blitzing. They just continue to affect the offensive line and the communication. Blitz here, 98 ends up, you see, big offensive lineman Tommy Kramer went down, which freed up Murphy to get in there, but Brent Venables dials it up against Ian Book and the offense there on 3rd down.
No single dominant pass rusher on this Clemson team. They've had so many of them in recent years, but a whole bunch of guys who get after the quarterback. Ugly punt, but a favorable roll. Rodgers gets away from it, and it'll be down at the 45-yard line. That pass rush for the Tigers causing problems for Book. About 24 more first-half yards for the Irish, Kirk, but 20 fewer points, far less efficient on 3rd down today.
Yeah, the 3rd downs, and even though it was a play that didn't work out for Notre Dame, Kyron Williams made a name for himself in the first matchup, not just running the ball, but pass protection, and he's continuing to do that tonight, doing everything he can to try to help Ian Book out.
Once again, it's good field position for the Tigers. They went 3 and out last time, and Rogers on the edge. Flags come down, 2 of them.
There's a hold there by Spector, 13.
Just 1 penalty for 5 yards on Clemson in the first half. Irish penalized just once as well.
Offense number 13. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
I'm searching for highlights right now to make sure this is a balanced broadcast at 24-3. So we're going to go back. We're going to go back and appreciate this, because you don't see backs not just pick up the blitz pickup, but against Skowski, pick him up. Oh, you see his head go back. Yeah, that's why I said we got to circle back and show that again.
He's been a career of doing that to other guys.
Yeah.
That was impressive. He gave away 40 pounds in that matchup. And now they get after Lawrence and they drag him down. It's a sack of 1 yard loss. So Ogundeji grabbed him by the ankle.
Now they're starting to get pressure, doing a good job of winning some one-on-one opportunities. That looks like that's Jason Adamiola does a nice job of forcing him out. And Ogundeji ends up chasing him down to bring him down. And now they're behind the sticks. We've not seen a lot of this tonight for the Clemson offense.
2nd and 18. Lawrence delay, but it's a designed run. He weaves his way through heavy traffic and is wrestled down near the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 11 now.
Saw Notre Dame trying to protect their corners on 2nd and long. They had 2 safeties on the hash just in case they were going to try to maybe throw the ball downfield. And Trevor Lawrence, of course, when he sees that too high look with those 2 high safeties, he's going to run the ball quite often and gives them enough yards there on 2nd down to give them a better chance here on 3rd down.
Clemson's championship phase, Davo's term, you will see the quarterback run a lot. And that's 8 carries for Trevor tonight so far. Chased again. Looking to create, flips it short. Malusi out of the backfield takes a hit in Notre Dame territory. Leafout forced him out, but it's 4th down and 3.
They're really doing a pretty good job up front by getting a push. You know, trying to get Trevor Lawrence off his spot, making him feel the pressure there. And Dalen Hayes does a good job, but Trevor, instead of giving up on the play, just checks it down. I thought maybe they might consider it because they're in plus territory, but at this point with this big lead, they just want to continue to play the field position game.
Twice, though, Clemson's had great field position to begin drives here in the 3rd quarter. Twice the Irish have come up with stops, trying to maintain some context here and keep hope alive. Spires drops the point, kicks it high, and the fair catch made by Salerno at the 12-yard line. It's pleasant early evening in Charlotte. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. No matter what the season throws your way, and it's thrown a lot, keep moving forward. Goodyear, more driven. So keep moving forward. That is the motto of 2020. Move to basketball on the ACC network. Virginia ranked 17th against William & Mary. Irish against the Cuse. Carolina and NC State Tuesday on the ACC network.
So the Notre Dame defense done their job. Yep. You know, couple possessions, couple stops.
That's 6 minutes gone in the 3rd quarter. The lead is still 21, and Williams powers ahead for about 5.
And this Clemson defense, for the most part, has been rock solid, dictating things with mixing the looks. James Skowski back, Tyler Davis. Both these guys missed that first game, and they of course have made their presence felt by being able to make plays, being able to shoot gaps with Tyler Davis. Good coverage, good job of leveraging the ball. Mike Jones missed the game as well. He's back. Forces the ball back inside.
Mayer makes the catch. Loses the ball. Ball still on the ground. Mayer may have maintained possession. That would have been disastrous. He does have it, and it's a 1st down.
Yeah, he had that ball away from his body, and Landon Sanders did a good job of seeing it and just knocking the ball loose. This is what I'm talking about. Get back, get the ball out. And this time he does that to Mayer. Look at Mayer, gets the ball away, punches it out. And look how fortunate he's fighting. He's fighting. Helmet's being pulled off, but he remembers he had some miscues in the first matchup. He was not going to lose that ball.
That was survival instinct, because they would have been out of this game if you lose that ball. Clemson scores quickly. Now on play action, long run, long throw. Skoranic's got it. Kirk, you look at Brooks' night so far. So efficient. He's got 2 incompletions, but the 4 sacks has been the story.
Yeah, 4 sacks, and that was a completion for not even a yard. So Clemson's taking away the throws down the field. Like, if you're watching this game and you're a Notre Dame fan, you're saying, hey, let's take a shot downfield. I mean, in the first matchup, how many times do you see McKinley making a play in one-on-one coverage? They've got to try to stretch the defense at some point.
Williams tries to escape, tripped up. Those Tigers are aware of that, though. They're dropping back. It's going to be tough to throw it over their heads tonight.
Yeah, it is. They're concerned about that potential. They know they had to play better in one-on-one, but right now Notre Dame not having any success at all. As I mentioned, when Ian Book gets back, when he goes into that hitch mode, most of this year he's been able to work through progressions or create. Tonight, it's not worked out. That's why if I were Notre Dame, I'd look for those rhythmic drops to get the ball out of his hands much faster.
Has not been able to create as a scrambler either tonight. Tigers well aware of his ability to do that. And pocket collapsing. Book again on the run, looking around, trying to make a magic play. Create some time and space for himself. Can he escape? Yes. Can he make the first down? No. And a flag comes in very late. Malcolm Green in on the play. It was fun, but
well, I think
it's going to work out.
I don't know if they're going to call it, but Skoranek hit a defenseless player, Landon Sanders.
A frustration penalty?
Yeah, well, just he's trying to make a block, but it was when Ian Book was in play, but Landon Sanders not even looking. And that's where the flag came down.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, number 11 of the offense. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
So he ran about 50 yards to lose a couple in his 4th down.
Yeah, you don't see that in college football very often. You may see it right here, right in the middle of the screen. Boom.
It's a receiver's revenge, right? Yeah, but it's also illegal and a point of emphasis this year.
And remember, Sanders, he went out in the 3rd quarter of that Notre Dame game with a stinger. And I think Dabo's fired up about.
He wants it targeting.
Yeah.
He wants Tom Zamorsky in the replay booth to buzz down and get Skoranek for targeting.
The reason I thought it was a defenseless player is the way he launched into the player.
Clemson, 30 seconds. Correction, timeout.
Well, Dabo wants to give him time to look at it. He takes a timeout and we'll take a break.
Chip Game, presented by Subway on ABC, is brought to you by General Mills. This football season, no matter where you are or how you pregame, we are all Tailgate Nation. Find game day recipes and savings at wearetailgatenation.com. And Chex Mix, it takes a mix.
Notre Dame punting. No targeting on Skoranek after Sweeney spent the timeout hoping they would come in. Bill Lamagna, your take on this? Hear from Bill momentarily.
It's an excellent call for a blindside block, but he did not get the head neck area. But he came from outside his field of vision. Good call on the field.
Book continues to be harassed and chased by that Clemson pass rush. Rodgers unable to get near this punt. Takes another good roll.
Good job flipping the field there for Notre Dame.
This time the Tigers will take over inside their own 20. A couple of empty possessions here in the 3rd quarter. Despite good field position, a chance to really stretch the lead and perhaps put the Irish deeper on the ropes.
Yeah, 24-3. Tony Elliott's. I still think they're in attack mode. I still think they're not working clock. They need to put a drive together here in their minds and try to stress this defense again. I think downfield with their vertical passing game.
ETN 2 away from 100 yards tonight. Ball is deflected at the line of scrimmage and ball's incomplete. That'll be all they got to hand up.
On those quick throws, that's about all you can do. Is that's where you really see the athletic ability of defensive linemen with the timing to be able to go up and bat that ball down. Trying to hit a quick slant. Defensive line from Notre Dame in the second half playing really good football across the board.
Keeper. Lawrence runs directly into Clarence Lewis, the corner.
That's a freshman out there. I mean, he's watched Trevor Lawrence playing some pretty big football games over the last 2 years as a junior in high school and a senior in high school, and he's out there one-on-one with a big fella. I give him a standing ovation for that effort and that tackle in the open field.
It's a case where the quarterback's got about 30 more pounds than the corner.
Good play, man.
3rd and 9.
Love corners and tackle.
Ball looped downfield. A circus one-handed catch is made by E.J. Williams, flashing the potential. It's true freshman.
It's true freshman on true freshman. Lewis just made that tackle, and now he's one-on-one in coverage against the length of E.J. Williams, who goes up and shows you what he's capable of doing, what a future he has. And really, with all the injuries to these receivers this year, with Ladson down, Nagata down, Justin Ross down, E.J. Williams has been one that's really had to step up.
Let's take a quick peek. They'll review this. Looks clean from here. We'll take a timeout while they look at it. Williams one-handed catch stands. Wasn't even close. They did review it. Now on the run, Lawrence delivers. You know, Kirk, this game's been around for like 150 years. And I maybe until the last 20 years, you never saw guys making one-handed catches like that. Way back in your day, they'd be discouraged from practicing that. Now, it's the great gloves. And these dudes worked on this from high school on, right?
I think OBJ started it. I mean, and because everybody saw it and it became a thing. These guys who are in college now are in middle school, and I have 4 sons.
Point. It's a thing now for sure.
I mean, everyone's practicing it all the time.
And coaches, you knock that nonsense off. Use 2 hands now. Just, hey, if you can do it.
Oh, boy.
Etienne galloping into the secondary, down to the Notre Dame 41, and Clemson really has this Irish defense on the back heels now.
Watch the backer come here. Watch how he is picked up. Gives him a nice crease. Leofau, the backer, blitzing. Guard does a nice job of getting up to him there, Matt Bockhorst. And when you execute up front, you pick up those blitzes, and you give 9 just a little bit of room. He's got such good vision and acceleration. He picks up 10 yards in a hurry.
Hamilton made the tackle, but is still down on the field. The outstanding sophomore safety for this Notre Dame defense. One of the last guys they want to lose at this point of this game. No points so far in the 3rd quarter. We're about 10 minutes deep into it, and this Irish defense, as you said, has done what they can so far to try to help the offense, but Venables' crew, way too much pressure on Book as Hamilton very slowly gets to his feet and limps off. Rangy, 6'4" from Atlanta, tremendous instincts. Plays all over the field, and they'll have to make do without him as they did against North Carolina when he was disqualified for targeting in the first half.
Yep.
That doesn't look great right there from the Notre Dame perspective. Meanwhile, first down, and Etienne has romped for 115 yards, averaging almost 13 a carry tonight.
Remember, 28 yards in the first matchup against Notre Dame's defense.
Had gone 6 straight without hitting 100 yards rushing until this game. Lawrence rolls, wants to throw back, and launches it for Etienne, but it was wide and outside. Owusu Koromoa was there.
Yeah, really good instincts there by Owusu Koromoa just to be able to pick him up after the fake. He didn't get lulled to sleep. And with Trevor rolling to his left, it looked like all the action going to Clemson towards us to the left side of the field, and instead he comes back the other way. But good defense, good discipline there.
Owusu Koromoa has not allowed a touchdown in coverage all year long. Top 20 on Todd McShay's draft board. He's the typical NFL linebacker right now. Fast, athletic. Pitch on the edge. Travis lowers the shoulder, picks up about 9.
I think Travis Etienne, it's not like you lose your ability as a back. We just had such high expectations. Everybody who has followed his career I just don't think Clemson has been as consistent at the offensive line. They broke in 4 new offensive linemen with Jackson Carman, the only returning starter at left tackle. Everybody else a new face up there, and it's taken some time, especially in the middle of COVID, to be able to develop a cohesive unit. So I think it's more about the line play and how defenses will load up than it's been about him this year.
Here's Lawrence for the keeper in the clear. Lawrence heading for the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers. Got one hand on the trophy now. I meant the ACC trophy, but the Heisman trophy maybe too, as he's having a night.
We knew his legs would be a factor in this game, and the way it's played out, they've been a major factor along with ETN. That's 10 carries now, averaging 8 yards a carry.
Yeah, you knew he'd run the ball more and run it well, and he has. And Lawrence, touchdown run to go with his 2 touchdown passes.
They give action this way, and then it's just simple, a quarterback counter following 84. Davis Allen, Bockhorst as well. That's a hat on a hat. Right tackle McFadden gets up to the backer. Safeties, remember, you don't have Kyle Hamilton in there to fill. Crawford's on one side, but you got another backup on the other. Not sure everybody's on the same page there. That just opened up, but really good blocking and execution by the offensive line on the quarterback counter.
4 touchdown lead. Is number 16 there the most outstanding player in college football for 2020 in your view?
I mean, he missed a couple games because of COVID. What a strange year to vote on a Heisman Trophy with him. Devontae Smith has had a season. The last Heisman winner is a wide receiver. Of course, you know everything. Yes. Yeah. 1991 was the last time a true receiver won the Heisman Trophy. I mean, Devontae Smith put up just a career year. So there's some great candidates, Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, but I think there's a chance that a lot of voters are going to watch this game tonight and see what Trevor Lawrence is doing. Tonight also has been a story about Ian Book not being able to make many plays. They've done a good job of keeping him, like I said, keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get out. Not just spying him, but the defensive ends not necessarily getting upfield. And then you can see the coverage downfield. Combination of coverage, nowhere to go with the ball, nowhere to take off and scramble, and eventually there, Kendrick, the corner, comes up with the interception. You go back to the first game, what he was able to do, and the second game here you can see design plays, first off schedule. Look at this completion, 3 of 5 and 3 carries for -1 yards.
Long throw and a catch. Still just the 2 incompletions. Here comes a flag. They'll tack on 15 as Skoranek was knocked down out of bounds. Little payback for the blindside block that he made on Xanders, perhaps.
Who knows what's going to happen here? But at 31-3, I keep saying I think it's vitally important that Notre Dame keep not just fighting because you're supposed to be a competitor.
Number 31, unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty.
But that entire committee is watching this game, and they're leaving an impression, lasting impression on the committee. That's what Brent Venables thought. Maybe he was in bounds when he pushed him, but he gets 15 more yards. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot at stake here beyond the ACC championship for this Notre Dame team right now.
We'll talk more about that in a second. Goodrich extended the arms, but it wasn't very far out of bounds when the hit was delivered.
No.
I mean, yes, you don't look elite when you're getting routed in this game, but do you discount a resume that includes 1 win over Clemson and a 10-0 regular season? And obviously it's all filtered through who the competition is for one of those top 4 spots. You got an Ohio State team that played and won just 6 games.
Yep.
Their second top 25 win was today. We don't know what's going to happen in Atlanta yet. Florida could still muddy the picture if they shock the Crimson Tide, of course. But again, nobody to throw to. How many times has he had to survey the field and then just throw it away? Looks like a sack.
I just asked a truck. I can't remember the last time Notre Dame was in plus territory, and it was all the way back the 3rd series of the game. Remember,
all 3 series were in plus territory.
Yeah. Remember Avery Davis had the drop on that 4th down where he and Ian Book weren't quite on the same page. And by the way, we just showed a graphic. We built a little package to show you the job they're doing in coverage and the job they're doing in getting after Ian Book. And there's another example of it yet again.
How would each side approach round two? How many changes do you make? Do you stick with what you do best, even though you know the other side expects you to do it? Venables is a master. Miscommunication. McKinley's been a total non-factor there, but another flag. Andrew Booth was in coverage.
Well, Josh Lugg is 10 yards downfield. I don't know if that's a quarterback draw. I don't know what the call was, but it was clearly a combination of calls, a run and a pass, and Ian Book read throw. And you know, I think Kyron Williams was trying to block as well. A lot of confusion there for Notre Dame, but definitely an illegal man downfield.
Skalski walking over, palms up, having a word with an Irish offensive line. It's got a little heated here. Been a couple of 15-yard penalties, one on each side for big hits and illegal hits. For a man who was too injured to go in round one,
Ineligible receiver.
Didn't do much.
Downfield, number 75. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
Didn't do much the last 2 weeks as he couldn't quite recover from that injury. Skalski's having a good time tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there's the center. He's downfield. Ian Book's throwing the ball. Even the receiver, McKinley, he turned around like, what are we doing?
Makes it 4th and 6. Kirk, offense on the field here. Desperation time for Notre Dame, down 4 scores. Got to get inside the 35.
One thing we know, they're gonna squeeze that pocket. See how Ian Book is able to handle it.
Show pressure, bring a lot of it. Book hanging in and delivers, and it's a strike and a 1st down. Tremble's second catch, that was crucial.
Now you got a holding call. I think it'll come back in the backfield. You got the blitz again. Kyron Williams picks up Landon Sanders, but we've been bragging about him. He may have wrapped up around Sanders on that block, got his arms around him. He's so good at pass protection.
Holding, offense, number 23.
Yeah, that's what they got him.
4th down.
He was so good blocking in the first game. Venables had to sort of alter his tactics on the blitzes, but tonight way more effective.
Yeah, here comes the blitz right here. He's so good at it, but see his hands go wide, arms go wide.
Takedown. So now a punt instead of a successful conversion on 4th down. Irish got to give the football back. Time running out here in the 3rd quarter, and they've fallen 7 points farther behind in this period. It's a low punt. Rogers this time fields it on the bounce and then just had to duck down at the 14-yard line. Sunday NFL Countdown at a very special early time. Set the alarm, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. Drew Brees back in action, taking on Mahomes and the Chiefs. And this week on Monday Night Football, Big Ben, we saw their opening game against the Giants, and the Steelers on top against the Bengals, 8 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, they've lost a couple, just exactly what you need to kind of get you going. A trip to Cincinnati, get the wins going again.
Yeah, but they're battling for home field now. They had command of it at the Chiefs.
Good on Monday. We'll be all right there. As a lifelong Bengals fan, I can assure you.
Rodgers, kind of like an extended running play. Just get it to him in the flat, and the guy who is kind of built like a running back picks up about 3. Still the aggressive approach on 1st and anyway. Lucy in at tailback.
So what he's looking at is you got 2 safeties. Notre Dame sometimes disguising. So now they're dropping a safety down. That's exactly what they were looking at.
They call that free access. Cornell Powell, a quiet night. It's been Williams who stepped up, makes that catch, and they will move the sticks.
And Clark Lee has done the best that he can to try to mix up the looks. It's very hard when you play a quarterback who's played as many games as Trevor Lawrence. It's his 35th start in his career. You got to mix up the looks.
Big tip Malusi. Trevor pulls it, and ball comes out, but he was ruled down after a 6-yard gain. if they choose to make it the final play of the third quarter. That will be.
Still have Kyle Hamilton out of the game and Houston Griffith in for him. Like you said, Chris, we saw the same thing in Chapel Hill a few weeks ago. It's a different story tonight overall for this team, down 31-3.
Clemson in control. That ETN touchdown run just before the half built up the lead. Lawrence touchdown run here in the third quarter, and Clemson closing in on another ACC championship and another bid of the college football playoff, leaded by 4 scores heading to the fourth quarter. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. College Football Playoff Selection Committee gathered in Grapevine, Texas. There's Rick George, the Colorado AD, new member of the committee this year. Heard it through the grapevine. Now you'll hear it Sunday, noon Eastern time, the CFP selection show. Setting up not just the semifinals in Pasadena for now, and New Orleans. Of course, a lot of the other New Year's Six bowls as well. On the slant, catch is made, and Williams is knocked down immediately.
And when this offense is going, I mean, they're going to stretch you horizontally with the run game, with the quick throw. They got the ability to run with the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, ETN up the middle. They can stretch you downfield with shots. They can hit you with the quick slants. They find the weakness, and they're able to locate it and attack.
And E.J. Williams has stepped up tonight, 4 catches for 80 yards. Frank Ladson is available. He was out there briefly, trying to come back off an injury. Still rusty, hasn't really contributed much. Lawrence finally just dumps it down. That's Galloway, the tight end. And he's out near midfield, knocked down. A little awkward, but it worked.
Well, with Carmen out there, I mean, I think it didn't necessarily look pretty, but watch the left tackle get out in front. Trevor Lawrence is looking. He's kind of the threat of the run, and then he just kind of checks it down. But look how you have a design there with the left tackle. He didn't pick anybody up, but the fact he's out in front, I think it's a design to get the ball to Galloway, who's had a quiet night so far tonight.
Rogers trying to avoid a block in the back. I'm not sure that he did, but no flag, and looking to throw on first down. Trevor escapes. He's got room and stretches for a 9-yard gain on the scramble. Griffith on the tackle.
I thought Leofau might have a chance to get in there. Travis Etienne, and you also saw Davis Allen step up. He was kind of in an H-back spot. Does a good job of clipping just enough of his shoulder pad and almost shielded him away from Trevor Lawrence. And there's the legs again. Not just design QB run, but the ability to extend plays. We came in thinking about Ian Book doing all that, but it's been 16.
Yeah, the improvisational plays. Book has not been able to make them tonight. He's been on the run a lot, but has not been able to create as he usually does. Lawrence, this is what you expect from him in a big game. Pressure gets to him that time, and he'll be sacked. Drew White, the backer, came on the blitz.
They brought Drew White. You also saw Griffith coming there, but we've talked on and on about what Lawrence has meant to this team. The fact that he wasn't there. You saw Clemson throw the ball quite a bit with Uiagalelei, but tonight it's been Lawrence throwing and running. Much more balanced attack tonight from this Clemson team. 213 on the ground, 271 through the air. And that first game, it was really almost all through the air.
Trevor, just the one loss in his career in the Superdome to LSU when he did not throw a touchdown pass. Trying to start a championship game for the 3rd time. Nobody's done that before in the history of the sport. Take a timeout.
Disney Safety, rated PG, now streaming.
And check that out on Disney Plus. Meanwhile, ESPN back here December 30th, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. And then check out Clemson's opener next season right here against Georgia. By far the biggest challenge for the Tigers in the regular season in 2021. Going to an ACC schedule that doesn't include Miami or Carolina, but Georgia and Clemson right here. What do you think? You going to make plans to be here September the 4th?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'd love it.
But first things first, Clemson trying to punctuate this ACC championship.
And also helping a Heisman candidate in Trevor Lawrence.
Exactly. Flips it in the flat. And Malusi making like ETN, taking a check down for a big gain down inside the 25.
Now they blitz Bo Bauer, the linebacker, who would be able to make a play here in coverage. And you blitz your backers, and if you don't get to the quarterback, there's nobody left there. And we're used to seeing Travis Etienne, but
Walker Parks, the freshman lineman there,
getting downfield.
Knocked the guy off his cleats downfield. Wow. Backup's having fun now for the Tigers in the blowout. Pump fake for Lawrence, who retreats and now fires too high for Rodgers, who made a business decision because Leafa was in the neighborhood. Foskey on the pressure there.
See this Notre Dame defensive line. They're still battling up front, still trying to get after Trevor Lawrence. See a couple different defenders. Eventually, Chris, he said it, Foskey gets there.
Malusi on a second down run. Falls forward. The sophomore from Naples is a talented runner. Travis will move on to the NFL, and then that linebacking rotation will be up for grabs next season. Malusi figures to be involved in that.
Chris, watch your guy here. Parks again, 64. He's coming around, building up momentum. Boom, with a big hit again.
Oh my goodness.
He hits Drew White.
Could you have fresh legs?
He's just out there like, let me hit somebody.
He's doing
coming
it.
out swinging.
He's doing it. Big fella from Kentucky. Shovel pass. That's Galloway, the tight end, coming around. The Irish were ready for that short gain.
Actually, Adamiola ends up making a play. He's optioning off of Leofau, the linebacker. That part of it worked, but Adamiola ends up coming from the inside to be able to take that play away, or that play had a chance for some big yards.
It's Justin. And now Potter trots out for a field goal try. This from 37. And makes it 34-3. Score had been identical to the last meeting before the one this season, the 31-3 semifinal a couple of years ago.
BC is presented by Subway. Get a free footlong when you buy 2. Now only in the Subway app or online, because it's footlong season. In part by Pacific Life, more than 150 years strong. Trust in your tomorrow. And thrive it. Thrive with purpose.
You saw the committee gathering in Texas to watch the games today. They've been producing the CFP rankings, brought to you by AT&T 5G. They've been pretty static. Not many changes. A&M beat Tennessee by 3 touchdowns today. Ohio State came from behind to win the Big Ten championship. Bama and Florida tonight. And we'll talk about the results today and how they might affect the top 4 in the final edition of the standings out tomorrow.
Looking at that, you would think Alabama, if they're able to win tonight against Florida, would be at 1. And
you think?
Well, yeah, Clemson. I'm just trying to help people. Clemson would be at 2, projecting. Ohio State at 3, and then we have this discussion right here with the teams that are left. You know, you have Notre Dame in that mix.
You think it's still a conversation whether Notre Dame's in or not?
I think, yeah, they got to have a conversation. I mean, I think they're fine.
I think it's a brief one.
I think they're fine with a win over Clemson, but don't forget the win over North Carolina.
Right.
North Carolina eventually going to be a top 13 team.
The more controversial team, frankly, is the inclusion of Ohio State. If you listen to both head coaches in this game, and we'll get into that in a minute, as Book clips it down and Williams stays alive and makes about 6. Look, I mean, both Sweeney and Kelly on our call and other places have been very, very vocal about the inclusion of Ohio State. As you take a look at the resumes involving Notre Dame, A&M, Cincy, and Oklahoma, which won the Big 12 again.
Yeah, and you know, Texas A&M, you look at their strength of record at 3, game control 11, not getting to Atlanta, you know, as far as the, oh boy.
Fumble. Williams lost the football and then comes back and falls on it.
If you just go back the previous 6 years, Alabama is the only team I can think of that was able to get in when they didn't make it to their conference championship game and went on to win the national championship the year they beat Georgia. Ohio State got in 1 year when they didn't make it. So there's been a couple examples, but those were pretty elite, pretty good teams like that. When you watched them, you thought the way the year was ending, they were a dominant team. Is A&M that kind of team? That's what the committee will have to figure out.
On the edge, almost interception. A flag comes in. Booth was defending on Skoranek there.
And pushing.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
He jams him at the line of scrimmage, and then because of his size and if he was able to turn his head and a little sooner and have some of that pushing back and forth, they probably would have let it go.
Book, for once, has time for the pocket, launches down into heavy coverage, and it's broken up by Fred Davis, a true freshman corner. McKinley has just not been a weapon at all tonight for the Irish.
You know, one thing on that graphic, we kind of went over it real quick. One thing that I don't know if they'll come into play or not, Chris, is Oklahoma. We saw them at Bedlam. Bedlam, you know, they're a team that I don't know if I would want to play Oklahoma right now. With the way they've been the last 6 games now, they have been dominant.
They've been on fire, no doubt, ever since the narrow escape against Texas in multiple overtimes. Book to Skoranek, who's cutting back to the center of the field and will make a first down inside the Clemson 45.
And the committee, when they put the cluster of teams together, there's a number of things they look at, but conference championship helps your case. Oklahoma has the 2 losses. They're on the far right, but just watching the way they have played on the defensive side of the ball, the young quarterback Spencer Rattler's been able to get better and better.
Yeah, I think the question the Irish fans have is, wait a second, what are we doing on this graphic? Like the assumption is Ohio State's resume is in. They're not on the bubble. Brian Kelly strongly disagrees, and so does Sweeney. So take a break and continue that. So we'll continue our conversation here. You don't usually hear coaches of teams that are tracking to be in the playoff. With both Sweeney and Kelly's teams, we're taking such umbrage at another team being included, but they both took issue with the idea of a 6-win Ohio State team. This before the Buckeyes had beaten Northwestern today to win the Big Ten championship being included, just because how difficult it's been to get on the field and play games and win games this season. Juggled and dropped by Mayer. I was surprised, but they were very, very strong. Nothing personal against Ohio State, Dabo kept reinforcing. He just didn't think any team playing only 6 games versus teams that have played, 11, 12.
Right. I think we're in unprecedented times, and if Dabo had played 6 games and won the ACC championship, he'd probably say, hey, we can only control what we can control. I think he'd have maybe a different tune.
I don't doubt that. And now a flag comes in as the pass was incomplete, and Mayer was hammered over there. Is that Skalski? Dabo doesn't like what he thinks he sees from this flag.
Well, it's just too much chirping going on. I think, I mean, Clemson's having fun. They're up big.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 24. That play is under further review.
This is Nolan Turner, and this is crucial. If targeting is upheld, he would not be able to play in the first half of the semifinal game.
Yeah, that's a great point, Chris. Here in this game's over at this point. This is a good one for Bill to evaluate, really break down for us.
You have a defenseless player in the receiver. He comes in leading and he hits him with his head. Forcible contact. You're going to have a targeting call here.
Wow.
The flags came out quickly. Dabo didn't like it, but I think he knew. He saw exactly what you saw, Bill, but from ringside down there.
He caught him right in the ear. The whole thing replay will decide on if that's forcible. I see forcible contact. I see replay confirming the call on it.
And Turner is a veteran guy back there, Kirk. He's got 6 career interceptions. That's more than That's double what any other Tiger has in their career. He had one against the Irish in that playoff game, and what's going through his head right now is, oh my goodness, I might miss the first half of the semi.
Watch Skowski after the play. This is really unlike Clemson. I mean, Brent Venables and Dabo run a tight ship. They've been doing a little bit of this, not a little bit, a lot of this in the second half, and I'm surprised to see it.
Well, we knew Skowski was emotional. We knew he was keyed up, heckled by those Irish fans at the end of that game in South Bend. No excuse for that. You're right, it's out of character for this program.
Usually they take the high road.
The bigger question, though, is the starting safety for Clemson.
It's a big one.
I don't see how they could pick the flag for targeting up, Bill. I mean, it seems pretty clear.
I think I'm looking down at Nolan Turner.
The ruling on the field for targeting is confirmed. 24 is disqualified. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
There are people around the country, even though they acknowledge player safety is important, who hate this rule. They hate the repercussions of it, which means that he's going to miss the first 30 of the semi.
And that's what I was about to say, is that is big for no matter who they play, because of he is the veteran. He's the guy that everybody else is a new starter back there with the exception of Kendrick, and he's in the middle. He and Skowski get everybody lined up.
Good, Brent. He falls to the ground, and maybe because he knows he's not going to like the call, and he's already figuring out what I'm going to do with that 24.
Big deal.
Tyree breaks free, and the freshman knocked out. It's the one thing at this stage of a game that seems to be clearly decided is don't get anybody hurt, and if you're going on, as both these teams expect to go on to the playoff, don't get anybody knocked out for the first half of the next game. And right there it happened.
Yeah, and I mean, they have a lot of guys that have gotten a ton of experience because of different injuries and COVID, and so their growth has been accelerated on that back end.
Tyree breaks free, and finally the Irish find the end zone with 8:09 to play. And the freshman from Virginia, who wears Rocket Ismail's number 25 and has great speed, is the one to score the first touchdown for Notre Dame.
Watch the surge on the right side of that offensive line. And the read here by 25. It's designed here. He's going to bounce it. Kind of feels the grass and the space to the outside. Picks up a good block by McKinley. And then has the speed to be able to get to the end zone. But what a good job of being patient, using his vision, and seeing that open up on the right side.
Tyree figures to have a bigger role next year, maybe even a bigger role in the postseason. Great talent. Lead is 24, 8:09 to play. Kevin, thank you. Lobbying has always been a part of the process, but given the landscape, it's taken it to a new level. Etienne couldn't handle the kick, and now just falls it in there for a touchback. Averting disaster there. Our Pacific Life game summary. Quarterback comparison. You look at those stats, Kirk, for Ian Book, and you figure only 6 incompletions. Wasn't able to make an impact as a rusher. Those sack yards make it -19. Trevor doing what you expect him to do in a big game.
Yeah, and they've just done a good job of taking anything away downfield in the passing game from Notre Dame, and not letting Ian Book do what he does so well. I mean, we've never really seen this year Ian Book be taken away from his ability to create, but in this game that's been a big storyline for the Clemson defense.
Lawrence still in the game. It's Darian Rencher, he very popular with his teammates. Senior running back in the ball game. Saw him score a touchdown against Virginia Tech and get mobbed because it been a long time coming for the veteran running back. Oh, Rogers in the flat is met immediately by Owusu Koromoa.
Great instincts by Owusu Koromoa. Sees the formation, and then right away sees Amari Rogers kind of take a few steps back. That's when he recognizes, gets right by the potential block. Boy, that's a good hit. Great play. Love to see that.
He's just a force of nature out there. Hasn't been able to make the spectacular play tonight like he did the first game when he got Etienne's fumble off the carom and ran it to the end zone.
But if you remember,
solid night though.
That play very similar to the way he recognized and then got accelerated into the backfield before Etienne. He actually peeked up and looked at him. That's why he dropped the ball.
Going to be fun to watch on Sundays beginning next year. Lawrence delivers underneath, and that's J.C. Chalk, tight end.
They're up 34-10, and they're acting like it's 13-10. They are still running their offense that they've run the entire game. They're not in four corners. Let's run the ball. Let's work the clock.
Had Notre Dame not scored a touchdown right there, maybe it'd be a little bit different, but certainly you can justify the aggressive approach here. Not to mention, Trevor, a few more stats on the resume. That Heisman Trophy has eluded Clemson. Many of their fans thought that Deshaun Watson was extremely deserving. And Lawrence backpedaling and just flips it, and that's Powell running free. Took him a long time to make a big play, but that ball moves into Notre Dame territory now.
I mean, this is incredible patience, baiting the defense towards him, and then at the last second realizing that he's got exactly the look that he wants on a crossing route. Right here, he's working. It's like a fadeaway jumper, and look where the accuracy of the ball. I mean, that's
a great analogy.
It's too good to be true.
Fadeaway swish.
All net from three.
Actually avoided the contact too. Backpedaled quickly enough. Two pass rushers on the ground, and they didn't get him down. Many of the backups now in at receiver and running back for Clemson, but it's still Lawrence on the carry. Spun down Betty Milda. I'd be careful one of the quarterback at this point of 24.
Again, they don't think about what ifs. They just play the game, and it includes Trevor Lawrence. They don't use kid gloves with him at all, and that's what he insists. That's why his teammates respect him so much. That was another zone read. Adamiola gave him a read like he was coming down on the back wrencher, and actually at the last second jumped out, and he was able to make a play on Trevor Lawrence.
I understand he's a tough guy, but it is a 24-point game and 5 minutes to go, and there's bigger things ahead here, brother.
I think until he's out of the game, I think they're just running their offense. I'm with you, man. I get it.
I mean, he is a big, tough dude. Teams come after him, harassing him, hitting him, knocking him out if they can. That's a part of the game plan. But he has shown his toughness ever since his freshman season.
I want to show the guys that I'm going to compete. I'm not worried about getting hurt. And no matter the moment, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. So I think that's the biggest thing that I try to bring to the table is toughness, and I try to be the toughest guy on the field.
I did a Zoom with he and Ian Book, and I asked him when it was over, I said, I noticed at the Virginia Tech game, I thought I saw a little stash. And then at the end of the interview, I said, are you growing? You got a stash going? And he said, yeah, he goes, it's 6 weeks.
That right there, is that 6 weeks?
6 weeks of growth. Can almost see it.
One thing he can't accomplish, I guess. There's not many. At least he had a sense of humor about it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That can't be a month and a half.
He sits. He's 6 weeks. He's proud of it. Oh, they give him a standing ovation. Check him out of the game.
There you go. The curtain call, the Clemson faithful, the lucky 1,000 or so able to get in here with a standing ovation and a hug from his head coach. And the man who had to go the distance, all double overtime of it the first time out, DJ Uyunglele, now in to mop it up. Rensher with the carry. Rensher will be part of the Home Depot College Football Awards show done virtually in January. Winner of the Disney Spirit Award, which is pretty cool. Here's Trevor's day. Didn't get off to a great start, threw a pick early, but then this play to Rodgers, the 67-yarder, got him going.
Yeah, I think this offense, after the interception, found their rhythm. Combination of the big plays in the passing game, along with the running game of Etienne and Trevor Lawrence.
No doubt that Trevor has earned MVP honors of this championship game. And are these numbers enough to give him the Heisman Trophy when it is presented virtually few days after the semifinals, January 5th to be specific. All the finalists will be joining on stream.
He sure took advantage of this window and this stage. People can talk all they want about how he missed 2 games with COVID, but if you're just talking strictly, what you have to evaluate as a voter is who do you feel is the best player, most outstanding player in college football? I mean, he's right, obviously, not only there. I think a lot of people feel he is the best player in college football.
Came within a day or two of being able to play in the first game, by the way. Oh, there's a muffed punt, and Salerno just trying to fall in it. He does at the 6-yard line. Sunday NFL Countdown starts early at 9 Eastern time. And then this week on Monday Night Football, Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Louis Riddick will have the call. AFC North, Steelers, Bengals, 8 Eastern time. Trying to keep ahead of the Browns. Their 2-game lead even after 2 consecutive losses for Pittsburgh. And the Irish will hope that what they did through the first 10 games will overshadow what happened here today in Charlotte. And the committee begins talking about it in a few hours. Should their fans be nervous?
I'd have them in the 4 myself. I mean, even if they lose tonight, even though it's not been pretty, been a frustrating night for them. But if you just go by their resume and what they accomplished this year, the way they've been very consistent, one of the most consistent teams all year. They came in 10-0. They beat Clemson at the time, the #1 team in the country. Don't forget the North Carolina win in Chapel Hill day after Thanksgiving. They'll probably be in the top 13 next week. I think they're okay. I'd put them in the 4, but
I think it's what they've accomplished and also who they're competing against for one of those 4 playoff spots, because there's clearly holes. You talked about Texas A&M and Ohio State again. We're never going to have a year, we hope, in the sport where a team with 6-0 record is in contention for a playoff spot. Some of that through no fault of their own, playing the hand that was dealt them. But it's hard to get on the field and it's hard to win games, and that's just the point of coaches like Kelly and Sweeney, who just don't like the idea of one team playing basically half a season and coming into the playoff potentially a lot fresher.
So if you were in the committee, would you put Ohio State in? Or would you eliminate them because they only played 6?
No, but I think it's a conversation. Again, it's who they're competing against for that spot. Normally, I wouldn't put them in. If there were another conference champion or a contending team that had played a lot more games that had a powerhouse resume, I don't think that exists right now. You talked about Oklahoma with 2 losses. A&M with 1 loss, but not winning their division, and a lopsided loss to Alabama. A win over Florida, a late come-from-behind win on their home field.
Yep.
Which is the best thing on their resume.
You have Cincinnati out there sitting there as the group of 5.
The deck is stacked against the group of 5.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen under this playoff format.
Just throwing them out there.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
Just throwing them out there.
So are they one of the 4 best? Yeah. And that's the mandate for the committee. But I do think there's a discussion there because they've still played half a season.
Yeah, I think what will end up winning over in that room is the fact that, as you said, they can't control the fact they played 6 games. The fact they were crowned Big Ten champions. I'll personally be shocked if Ohio State or Notre Dame doesn't end up in the 4 tomorrow.
They struggled with that. Chris Olave, who was unable to play because of COVID, and if you follow the Big Ten protocol, which all the teams going into the playoff have to follow the conference protocols, which are different. There's no uniform protocol based on the CFP. It's whatever the Big Ten protocol has been. And you're talking about a game that's, what, 12 days away? That would rule them out under that protocol. So but the rules have changed a lot this year, so stay tuned. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. To reach the end zone, all you need is drive. Goodyear, more driven. So stay tuned with the rules. Stay tuned for who gets in. Stay tuned for where the games are played.
By the way,
that remains a controversial issue in this sport.
What if Florida accidentally upsets Alabama? Then what happens? Alabama.
Then I'll be sitting there with a few tequilas. I'll call you on the plane. We'll have a conversation about
Florida blew their chance by losing.
Have you ever seen a playoff bid thrown away by throwing a shoe 20 yards?
No.
That's a perfect 2020
I wanted to ask
moment.
Bill about that. He said, the referee said, 20-yard. He threw the shoot 20 yards. So if he threw it 18, would he have been okay? He was very specific in saying he threw it 20 yards.
Yeah, I would have left that out of my announcement and just let it be there. It was a good call for throwing the shoot.
I love Bill when they giving him the business. Ben Dreith, the famous call. I love when they're descriptive.
He's in there giving him the business.
I did that one time, and my boss Dave Perry told me don't ever do it again.
You said give him the business?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
That.
I like that one.
Line.
Oh, okay.
Well, I fell over when he said throw the football shoot 20 yards.
I don't know if they measured it. I don't know what that was about.
3rd and long for Book, who delivers. This is where we came in. Book to Mayer very early in the game when the Irish had things going. Remember, they made it inside the Clemson 30 each of their first 3 possessions and came away with only 3 points, and that was a serious problem.
Yeah, and the tight ends are such a difficult matchup for defenses because you get into that 12 personnel with 2 tight ends and a back, or even 13 with 3 tight ends, and it's not just a running formation.
Book, was his knee down? He went down to get the low snap, but his knee was down when he touched the ball.
It really creates problems for linebackers and safeties. They've just not been able to exploit that as much as I thought they'd have a chance because of the coverage downfield and the pressure that Ian Book's had to deal with.
So Book is going to lose for just the 4th time in his career. 30-4. He's 3rd in active wins. Lawrence is number 1, but has the 11th most starts. So he's been efficient, obviously. Very successful career. Hopes to play a couple more games as a Fighting Irish player. Downfield play is broken up nicely. Fred Davis, the freshman there, lets everybody know.
Thought we talked about Mayer and the tight ends, Tremble. I thought we might see more shots to Skoranek and McKinley. That was a big emphasis in the first game. Even when these guys were covered, they would throw it up, especially McKinley, go up and over Clemson defenders, and Brent Venables really challenged his corners these 2 weeks to get ready for those one-on-one contested shots, but we've not seen the Irish take many of them.
No, and Clemson has won what they call the competitive plays. You're right. Davis and McKinley have been non-factors. Book has been chased all night, and he'll be sacked again. That's the 6th sack. Trent Simpson got him that time.
Simpson has such a future, a true freshman. He's an outside linebacker, but they put him down, let him get off the edge as a defensive end in obvious passing situations. He's lined up right here. In the Notre Dame game, he was downfield and man-to-man coverage. He does really a bunch of different things, but I love that he didn't get too far upfield, put himself in position knowing the potential of Book coming out, and eventually gets him down. Big-time effort there by the true freshman.
Irish fans will point the fingers perhaps of the offensive line, but a lot of these sacks have been coverage sacks, a complete team effort by this Clemson defense, covering guys and then getting after Book and then watching him closely when he's on the run. He hasn't been able to make those creative improvisational plays at all tonight.
No, he's been, like I said, we set that up in the open, and it's really played out. The ability to squeeze that pocket, it's just been such a different aspect of what he's tried to have to try to respond to. Remember, you and I called Lamar Jackson in Louisville against a Brent Venables defense, and the last time I talked with Brent Venables getting ready to do a game, he sounded like he was getting ready to play Lamar Jackson, talking about we got to keep him in that pocket. We've got to not allow him to get out and make plays.
Now the championship belt, you can see Kendrick's got it on there, and they are going to be champs again in this conference. The trophy ceremony is coming up on ABC. Every year, these challengers kind of step into the ring. It's a different one every year. They come out and they take on the champs, and they just keep getting knocked out. And sometimes they get knocked out in the 2nd round, and sometimes they get into the 10th or 12th round, but they always get knocked out. And Notre Dame, in their 1 year in the ACC, a special circumstance this year, but they just joined the parade of other ACC teams that step in here. Usually it's right here in this ballpark, and it's always Clemson walking away with the trophy.
How about every year it seems like we do this graphic.
Yep.
And we just update it.
Exactly.
4 straight Clemson senior class with 50 wins.
And if you talk about the 5th-year seniors, it's one for the thumb, right? Yeah. It's going to be the 5th ACC championship ring. Nobody had ever won 5 conference championship games in a row. Of course, it's only been in recent decades they've played these things, but now it's going to be 6.
This is a bigger. Oh, Dabo just got the Gatorade. It got him pretty good.
It'll feel okay.
Incoming. He's had a few of these. You'd think he'd have his head on a swivel.
Just don't hit him with a bucket.
Yeah.
Well, even in the surreal season in the ACC, the song remains the same. Clemson's Tigers are the Kings. We'll have a trophy tonight. Don't know if they still have a pizza party waiting the playoff bid. It's a lock. No lower than the 2 seed. They'd sit there if Alabama wins their conference as expected. And we'll see what happens with Notre Dame. They would have to be the 3rd seed under that scenario to get round 3. It's been since 1909 since 2 teams have played 3 times in a season. I don't know that a lot of fans want to see that based on this 24-point win, but the Irish certainly hoping that what they did the first 10 outweighs what happened here today.
Big time step up by Clemson. It's not just the way their defense played, Chris. This is the first time their offense has looked like their potential. Balanced attack. They've had to do it through the air most of this year. Tonight, they were able to run the ball and throw the ball, so that momentum goes into the postseason, into the playoff.
A spectator the first time. The star tonight, Trevor Lawrence, is with Maria Taylor.
All right, Trevor, you were there as the fans were rushing the field for Notre Dame and celebrating a victory, and now you're here to play in a dominant win that leads to an ACC title. How does living through it the first time make this moment even sweeter?
Man, it's just a great moment. This team has just been through a lot this year. Obviously, everything going on, the ups and downs, and just to see how steady we've been. Just kept coming back to work every day. And just goes to show how much better you can get throughout the year. And it's the most important thing is who's playing well at the end of the year. And we've gotten so much better. Really just proud of this team. Just a great overall win. Obviously, everything kind of went how we expected it to go, so it was awesome.
We know that you're in the championship phase, as you guys call it, at Clemson. What was your mindset coming into this game? Because in the first half, 24 straight points you guys scored and were able to really be dominant on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I feel like we had a really good plan. You know, we had 2 weeks. I feel like we had them dialed in pretty good. All the guys took ownership of it. And I mean, really, besides the interception I threw early, we were putting a bunch of drives together. I think the first half, that drive right there, obviously turnovers, so they got the ball. Then we scored a few in a row and then kicked a field goal. So we had a really good first half. Came out a little slow second half, but kind of picked it back up. But just a good game.
What's the message you think you sent to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee here tonight?
We're back. We're back again. We're ready. So.
And I know you don't like to talk about yourself, but you're always in the Heisman conversation. What would it mean to you to be a finalist that's announced?
It'd be awesome. It's something I grew up watching as a kid. It'd be a huge accomplishment. Obviously, I think that's, it's an individual award, but I really think it's a team award. I've had a lot of people helping me these past few years, so it would be awesome. But really, I'm just focused on winning these next 2.
All right. Thanks for your time, Trevor. Congrats.
Thank you, Maria.
Thanks, Maria. The milestones, the trophies, both individual and team, still very much in play. Ought to be an investigation if he's not a Heisman finalist. I mean, many believe this is enough tonight to earn him the Heisman Trophy. Becomes the first quarterback to start and win in 3 ACC championship games. Deshaun did it a couple times. Tyrod Taylor actually played in 3, but started in 2. And tonight, after a shaky start, the pick, he really got it going quickly.
Yeah, they were in sync. He just talked about after the interception, things seemed to feel good, and they should have. They were able to run, put a lot of pressure on the secondary Notre Dame. Pick your poison. Step up against the run of Lawrence and Etienne. Deal with that. Once he started to run the ball, I think it just opened up more opportunities in the pass game. They really worked together well. Great plan and design by Tony Elliott, Dabo Swinney, the entire offensive staff to put Lawrence. There's his parents that are fired up to be here again to see another championship.
Other part of the equation tonight, Ian Book was held in check. The Irish never got the ground game going. And Venables' defense, you see him there with Skowski holding Notre Dame to 263 total yards, Kirk.
Yeah, it was a group effort. I mean, this is probably the best they've looked the entire year as far as playing complementary football. The defense did what they needed to do. They were challenged for 2 weeks by Brent Venables. I asked him, who played Ian Book in practice? Because he's notorious about running the scout team quarterback. I said, I know you're not out there doing all that scrambling. He goes, oh, no, I am. That's what I did for 2 weeks. I was Ian Book. And so he gave him the best look that he could give him. And at the end of the day, that defense was incredibly well prepared. They didn't let Book get out and do anything. And they were physical at the line of scrimmage, which they had to be against that run game.
So Travis Etienne, 124 yards rushing in the week that he graduates from college, calling that his proudest accomplishment. So a good week for Etienne. And after 6 games in a row not getting to 100 yards, he was overdue to bust out, and he did.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is going to get a lot of the attention, and he should. But like I said, I think it was the balanced attack. And if you're a defense and you've got 9 going one way in the run game, 16 going, the threat of 16 going the other, that gets your eyes into the backfield. And now you're really setting up for what they want to do. Now they get those vertical shots and those one-on-one opportunities. So we'll see who matches up with them. But with the way they're humming right now, coming off their best collective performance of the year, they got to be feeling pretty good about the postseason.
One potential is a rematch of the Fiesta Bowl semifinal a year ago, the hotly contested Clemson-Ohio State game. If the committee would move the Buckeyes to 3, perhaps that would put Ohio State 4, and they would avoid round 3 of this matchup we saw here today. I know they say they don't try to manipulate the matchups, but sometimes
well, if that happened, you'd have Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. The ending and the way that game was played last year out in Phoenix, a lot of energy. And then Dabo may do it again. He's already said he has questions about whether or not Ohio State should be in. It'll be interesting to see the post-game comments tonight from both Brian Kelly and I think from Dabo Swinney. Remember, anything you say potentially is bulletin board material if you end up playing that team.
Absolutely. You can't have better bulletin board material than what Day would have to work with.
Already.
With what Swinney said. So
already, yeah.
We'll see who's in. Where are they headed? That continues to be an issue. Will that semifinal game be played in Pasadena? It's been a big topic of conversation and controversy for both Dabo Swinney and Brian Kelly. Will it be shifted to Arlington? Stay tuned for that. We know that New Orleans, the Superdome, is the site of one of the semifinal games. The issue would be, of course, with the Rose Bowl that spectators are not allowed at sporting events in California, and LA County continues to be a major COVID hotspot. Swinney and Kelly vocal about having the parents of the players and maybe some other fans able to watch the semifinal. So that's a very tough situation that the CFP is dealing with.
Yeah, as you were saying that, I was watching Dabo hugging Trevor Lawrence. It just had me thinking about how spoiled he's been at that position. Taj Boyd really got this train going a few years ago. Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, DJ Uiagalelei next. Who knows who's coming in after that? But that position's treated him pretty well and given him a lot of opportunities to win ACC championships and much more.
And his predecessors at the position did a lot, but no one at Clemson or anywhere else has ever started in 3 national championship games. Lawrence is a win away from doing that. So there's plenty of firsts, plenty of achievements, and a lot more still to play for as Clemson wraps up the season, the regular season anyway, where they expect to, right here, winning another ACC championship. Tomorrow, the CFP Selection Show presented by AT&T 5G. SportsCenter coverage at 11 o'clock. Then the show begins at noon Eastern time. Semifinals, the Rose Bowl game, perhaps in Pasadena, and the All-State Sugar Bowl. And then, of course, Miami, Hard Rock Stadium is the scene of the national championship game on January 11th. Coming up next, Tulsa and Cincinnati, the American Championship game. Just, about a half hour away. Swaying and singing. This has become a December ritual for the Clemson Tigers, a 2-hour ride from their campus. Usually they got a orange-clad crowd of tens of thousands here. Only 5,200 in total, maybe 1,000 Clemson fans here able to witness this in person. Champions again. Who is going to dethrone them in the ACC as you look ahead? He may have that belt for a long time. They came out with a purpose.
I mean, is that a middle linebacker? I can't get enough of 47.
Neck brace, ink.
I mean, he just sums it up right there.
All right, Maria Taylor will preside over the trophy presentation in the field. One more time, trophy will be handed to the Tigers. Maria?
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to direct your attention to midfield for the presentation of the 2020 ACC Football Championship Awards. Joining the ACC and the Clemson Tigers is ESPN's Maria Taylor.
Thank you and good evening. It is my pleasure to be here again for the 2020 ACC Championship Trophy Ceremony. And first and foremost, we want to say congratulations to Notre Dame for a great regular season and making it to the ACC title game, and good luck with the rest of their postseason. But Clemson Tigers, congratulations again on yet another championship, your 6th straight outright ACC title. Representing the ACC and Commissioner John Swofford is the Senior Associate Commissioner for Football, Michael Strickland, and he will be presenting the trophy to head coach Dabo Swinney. So, Coach Swinney, in a lot of ways, Coach, we're getting used to the orange Gatorade bath. We're getting used to the orange and white confetti. But it doesn't take away from the fact that it's hard to make it to these moments to win a championship. How would you describe what your team was required to work through, particularly this season, to make it to this moment?
Unbelievable. I mean, this is we've had a lot of great teams, but I told these guys, of all the teams I've had, this team deserved it the most. Unbelievable, uncharted waters that we've navigated this year. Unbelievable leadership, and just super proud of them. I've never had a team that deserved it more. And to see them play the way they did tonight and finish the job, 6 in a row, 10 wins. 10 wins in this year. Every year 10 wins is hard to do, but in this year it's almost miraculous. And hats off to our staff and our team. Unbelievable job.
Yeah, you have the longest active streak in the ACC championship history, but you had to go back through an old foe in Notre Dame. How would you describe what it was like to avenge a win and the statement that your team came out and make from very beginning of kickoff?
Well, this is what we set out to do. You know, Notre Dame's a great team, and we had a great game in South Bend, and you know, stormed the field and all that stuff. And I told the guys in the locker room, look, no trophy was handed out tonight, and they're going to hand that out in Charlotte. And when we get to Charlotte, we'll be on the field, we'll get the trophy. So they've had a great year, but tonight it was all about the Clemson Tigers. It's all about this group right here. And man, just thankful to the good Lord to have the opportunity. Just grateful that we played this year, and grateful that I've got a staff and a group of young people that love each other and are committed to excellence in everything we do. We had 72 guys, most we've ever had in school history, make a 3.0 this fall in the midst of this time. So that's the type of excellence that you've seen right here behind me.
Yeah, and one of those guys who's been excellent for you, I've seen you grab him and hug him a couple of times. What can you say about number 16, Trevor Lawrence, who is our MVP here tonight for the ACC championship game?
Well, big shocker there. Here's what I would say. It would be a crying shame if the Heisman didn't attach their name to Trevor Lawrence, all right? That would be a shame. All right, I know that's become a stat award, but if you watch college football and you don't know this is the best player in the country, I don't know what you're looking at. So to me, the Heisman should want their name attached to Trevor Lawrence. That's what I got to say about that guy.
All right, well, congratulations, Coach. That's a perfect preamble for Trevor Lawrence, who is the ACC championship MVP. Please grab your trophy from Michael Strickland. So, Trevor, this would be your 3rd ACC title, but the first time you get to raise that MVP trophy. What does it mean to you to be able to take that home along with this team award?
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, like I said to you earlier, all the individual awards are pretty much team awards. You can't do it by yourself. This goes to show we were ready, we were prepared. I just had a really good feeling coming into this game that we had a good game plan. All the guys were ready for the second round. So just hats off to all our coaching staff, the whole team, everybody that helps us get ready. It was an awesome night.
I see your team is pretty excited behind you, but you guys have been through a lot this season. You had to be out due to COVID. I mean, you've had to really commit to making this season finish. How would you describe what it's been like for you and every single guy that's behind you right now?
It's been tough, but honestly, it makes moments like this even better. Knowing how much we've gone through, just kept fighting, kept working every day. Obviously, there's been a lot of doubt on the season just throughout the whole time, and just seeing everybody come into work, like I said, just every day with the same mindset. It's been really cool thing to be a part of.
Well, congratulations on another title. Congratulations on the MVP. And guys, go ahead and swarm them because you guys are hyped to celebrate your ACC championship. Clemson Tigers, enjoy this one.
All the greatness been firmly grounded. Of course, all individual awards have a team element, but the ultimate individual award in this sport, the Heisman Trophy, Dabo Swinney making a strong statement.
Yeah.
Not that many people maybe would disagree with him. They'll have Heismans at the locations for all the finalists. It'll be given out virtually. He won't get a chance to go to New York for that. Maybe he'll be a New York Jet, but that's another story. He's not in green and white yet. He's in orange and white for at least 1 or 2 more games.
I love that Dabo said that, and I think he's, what he said, it was backed up by Trevor's performance in this game, and the voters will have to look. It's going to be tough. I mean, you and I are voters. You look at that ballot. There's a lot of great, amidst this global pandemic and COVID and all the different protocols they've had to jump through. There's some great individual performances, but 16 for Clemson. He's delivered. He's lived up to the hype and had an exclamation point of a season with his performance tonight in Charlotte.
Maybe it's fitting in 2020. Lawrence, of course, was touched by COVID himself, forcing him to miss the first game, but more than makes up for it here tonight. And you believe that Notre Dame has done enough. They're still going to be in that bracket.
I think they will. Coming in at 10-0, this game went sideways on them in a hurry, but I think the resume, the committee will look at that entire resume, and that should be enough.
Tulsa, Cincinnati, the American Athletic Conference Championship game coming up. Game produced by Bill Bonnell, directed by Derek Mobley. For Bill Lamagnier and Maria Taylor. For Mike Black, Mark Amenzo, Darren Brown helping us out. And for Kirk, Chris Fowler. So long from Charlotte. It's the Tigers on top one more time. College Football Scoreboard Show. Stay tuned for that right now.
Thanks for watching this special presentation of ESPN, home of the College Football Playoff, semifinals on New Year's Day.